The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests. What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 335. We are live, as always, on YouTube, streaming to over 150 countries worldwide. If you're out there in the live chat, welcome to the dark side. Go ahead and say something out there. We don't know that you're out there unless you do say something. If you're watching this in replay or listening to this in podcast form, the conversation does not have to stop right here. Go ahead and utilize the comment section below. Let us know what you think of the show, how bad we're doing, how ugly we are. Let me know what you think of the Padres throwback hat. It's baseball season, so you'll be seeing a lot of baseball hats and all of that stuff throughout the summer faux shizzle. Anyways, but yeah, welcome to the show. I hope you guys aren't expecting to learn a whole lot. We never promise to make you any smarter. We honestly just hope you not to make you any dumber. That said, if you like to text into the show, yes, you can text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends over at Wilder Tactical. That number is 530-364-4678. And go check out wildertactical.com for all the coolest gear out there. They specialize in war belts, duty belts, whatever you want to call them. They're great, but they've got a lot of stuff over there. Great people, great company, veteran owned and all of that. So go check out wildertactical.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in the darkness, and you're looking for that light, you're looking for someone to talk to, maybe call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I might be able to talk you through some stuff. More importantly, just be an ear, just be someone that can listen to you. If you are looking for someone or some place that can get you towards some medical attention or at least some help, I suggest you go check out our good friends over at Walk the Talk America. Mike Sedini and those guys over there started about 5-6 years ago, and they're really trying to bridge the gap between mental health and firearms. They're doing a great job. There's a lot of great people over there. They have some licensed therapists all over the country. They partnered up with 2A Mental Health. They partnered up with Zephyr Wellness and Jake and all those guys. They partner up with a lot of great people that have a big, wide reach across the country that are there to help you in any way, shape, or form. Most importantly, if you think that you might be, or someone you know might be having some mental health issues right now, but you're not really sure, over at WTTA.org or WalkTheTalkAmerica.org, they do have an anonymous free mental health screening that you can take. And there's also resources there that you can get in contact with people that could help you. So go check out Walk the Talk America, WTTA.org, WalkTheTalkAmerica.org. And they've got a great podcast, guys, called the Guns and Mental Health Podcast every Friday morning. They do it on their YouTube channel, Walk the Talk America. And it's a live one, kind of like this one, usually around 10 o'clock Central, around that time. But some great conversations and great people. So, yeah. Anyways, go check out walkthettalkamerica.com. See some comments out there already. It's kind of funny. We are spotlighting, as always, the United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title of United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, we are a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. Go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-tweet podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. And I'm not going to be leaving Self-Defense Radio, but I'm going to be adding something that I think that, no offense to Self-Defense Radio Network, they do some fine work over there, but we're looking to join them and talking with Sean. They're getting some stuff done in the background of Firearms Radio Network. We'll be joining that network here pretty soon. I think Clover's on there. I think Ginger's podcast is either on there or will be. A lot of great podcasts over there, so be looking forward to that. I'll let you guys know when that happens. They're doing some tweaking in the background and the infrastructure of Firearms Radio. I think they're getting ready to add a lot more podcasts over there. So great network will be over there pretty soon. I think that's all I got. So let me get this off of my ugly mug and say hello. Hello, Clarice. What do you got going on? So we'll start this way. I gotta do your intro, bro. It's just what it is. Standing on the corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a ginger, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, wearing a pretty damn cool minor league baseball hat. From Fully Loaded Reviews and the Gun Owners of America, we've got John, the ginger, soulless bastard. What's up, Holmes?
What's up, homie?
Yeah. What's I'm digging it, man. I'm digging it.
Rocking
the Tuggers, baby.
The Wisconsin Udder Tuggers.
One
It's
of the
the
best names out there.
minor league affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They go normally by the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. So once a year or twice a year, they go by the Wisconsin Udder Tuggers, and gotta love a little cow print on there.
And I love the camo bill. That's sweet.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty badass. I saw someone up here. I think it was Midnight Rain says Ghost. I was telling the little guy about Tony Gwynn last week about how a great hitter he was. Yeah, I was fortunate to see Tony Gwynn play quite a bit when I was stationed out at Camp Pendleton. The great thing about San Diego is it's such a huge, between the Marine Corps and the Navy, it's a huge military city. And you could go to Padre games for $2. $2 if you were active duty. And you could go to Charger games for $5. This is back in the mid 90s and all of that. But still, we would go all the time to Padre games. It was great. You go for $2 and have a blast. Dollar beers, dollar hot dogs, dollar anything once you're in there. If you were active duty, they took care of us for sure. $2 to get in. It costs you more to get in than it costs to get a beer or a hot dog. That I'm going to say that it's probably still that way, but I tell you what, with the price of concession stand beer and dogs now these days, it's getting closer to the. I mean, you're spending just as much on food as you are for a ticket these days. So, yeah. Travis says there's, I wouldn't mind tugging some others. Yeah, I bet you would. I said Moo will be here in a few hot dog sandwiches. No, sir. No sandwiches there. I saw someone out here. We're going to have fun tonight because we're going to talk some different things. But I saw someone say that they use a 9,000 yard.
It was
zero.
G said 91,440 millimeter zero.
A millimeter zero. There you go. I like it. Mike's out there. Mike says, you know what? I've had my mental health checked out and I'm fine, even though there are a lot of people that think that there's a lot wrong with me. I think we all live in that boat. There's a lot of people I know that say that there's something wrong with me. What's going on? Let me talk about Fully Loaded Reviews. I know you guys put a video out a couple days ago. Also, I mean, you guys are ramping up at Gun Owners of America. A lot of stuff going on right now.
Yeah, so Fully Loaded Reviews, we just launched the Ross Martin RM1C. That is a great video. Go check it out. There's Kurt threw in some funny "that's what she says" jokes a couple times. But other than that, it was a great gun. Stay tuned because at the end you will see that we've got some controversy going on between the two of us on that gun, and it's going to be good.
You know, I love the fact that there are some, whether or not they're called classics or not, right? Who knows? But there's some old gun designs, and I say old, I'm not talking like high power or 1911 old, but older gun designs that have kind of been forgotten. And not saying they've been said they're not good, but they've kind of been forgotten over the last 15, 20 years. And I love the fact that there are some companies that are doing inspired by designs. You know, you might take a couple different designs that people like and throw them together. One of my favorites, I know it sounds weird, but one of my favorites is still the SAR 9. I think that is 100% the HK-VP9 had a child with a Glock 17. And I mean, it's just one of those guns, but I know the Ross Martin is an inspirational gun, and a couple designs that a lot of people kind of still have soft spots for, you know?
Yeah, it's they inspired it off of the Arex Delta M2. So that one, let's just say you'll have to watch the video when we compare the two.
Yeah,
But they
I'm
had
a big Arex fan. I've got the Delta X, and I love it. I know that Clover's got maybe the Zero, and we'll let Clover talk about that here in a minute. But Arex is putting some great guns out too, so let's not shaft them at all either.
No, I think their guns are fantastic. It's going to be a really interesting head-to-head talk when we do both of them. I'm
looking
excited
forward
for
to
it.
that. When's that coming down the line? Is that coming like in the next month, you think, or
next month or so? We haven't filmed it yet, but we got to get it filmed to actually do it.
And then it takes, however, I mean, let's be honest, it takes a while for him to edit some stuff at times.
Yeah. So
we're throwing you out. We're throwing you under the bus. I'm just saying.
Sorry, Kurt.
Kurt, you're going to have to step up your editing game. Get with Clover. Clover loves editing video. He can help you out. I promise you.
Oh, Kurt likes editing video. He's so busy. It just takes some time. Last time, so he would have had this video done a week ago, but the mics were interfering with each other. So he was like, we got to refilm it. And luckily we had backup audio running. So it wasn't as good as backup audio, but it was backup audio.
You guys are shitty with audio. I'm just saying, like, you have issues with audio that, like, you should have had fixed by now. I'm just saying.
I bought a set of DJI mics.
Okay.
Just so we're fixed. Yeah, we won't run into those issues anymore.
All right.
And then on the GOA side, I mean, we're doing a bunch. Kaylee and a bunch of people were just at the Tennessee lobby day, got a bunch of red flag law bills knocked down in Tennessee. That was today. We've also got our 18 to 20-year-old case just went to the Fifth Circuit, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll see if we get that all knocked down and ready to go.
You said the Fifth Circuit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So New Orleans.
Yeah. No. The Fifth Circuit's going to be a much better than the 3rd or the 9th. The Fifth Circuit actually probably could have some, how do I put this, maybe at least moderate towards conservative thought processes down there. That might actually help in our favor a little bit. Is that why it was filed down there, or what? I
think it was filed down there for a couple of reasons, but I don't know exactly sure. I let the lawyers do lawyer things.
No, I understand. You're just a pretty face, you know?
Yeah, you know. We've got a podcast coming out with Otter Waiver on the new State of the Second.
Otter Tuggers, what?
Otter Waiver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, all the above. So that's happening. And then we've got a sorry, the dog's barking in the background.
All good. I got 2 of them sitting right over there, so we're good.
And then we've got the new podcast, and then we've got a bunch of things coming out for goals. So the goals website should be done here, hopefully end of week. They're working on some back end tweaks. That's what I was told. There's some things that they're trying to run and test.
They like tweaking the back end.
Yeah, I guess so. But I can say this: we've got SDS Imports, EAA, Global Ordnance, Smith & Wesson, IWI, Palmetto, Mission First Tactical, Sticky Holsters. That's just to name a few off the top of my head that are already committed to attend. So if you guys are interested and want to know, there will be more stuff coming out here shortly, more announcements. We've been putting out press releases every week with companies that are attending. So keep an eye on that, and then keep an eye on for the big announcement when people can start signing up to attend. So that'd be huge here shortly.
Fantastic. Can't wait for August. Cannot wait for August. Riding shotgun, as always, the gatekeeper of Texas pride, the tactical virus. I mean, Leprechaun himself. What's up, Clove?
Yo.
You got a shotgun for me?
I don't know. You hadn't asked the last couple of weeks.
Well, you know, I'm killing you. I'm killing you, Smalls.
Kill him.
Pick me out a winner, Bobby. Come on.
Pick you out a winner.
Watched The Natural a couple nights ago. That's where I got that from. Pick me out a winner, Bobby.
I don't know. Go Vepper 12.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said go Vepper.
Oh, a Vepper. Okay, interesting. Nice. Good pull. Nice pull out of the old tweak in the backside,
Oh, yeah, there you
Yeah, yeah. My daughter is calling me, and sweetheart, I'm going to take this live for a second.
go.
Hey, you going to be up for a little while? Yeah. Oh, that's right. It's morning time over there. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm on my podcast. I'm literally live with like 3 people right now. So 3 people watching. I'm just kidding. That's fine. I'll shoot you a text, and if you guys have high Wi-Fi somewhere, great. If not, I'll talk to you later. But you have fun. Love you, bye. Sorry I had to take that. So obviously, most of you guys know that my wife and daughter are over in Japan, so they're 14 hours ahead of me. So times are just all jacked
Tell
up.
them on Tuesday they need to get up earlier. Apparently,
It's what 9 o'clock in the morning. They're getting ready to leave the hotel. They're in Tokyo today. They went up to Tokyo for a couple days. So yeah, they're killing me sometimes. They're killing me. There's Moo out there. Yeah, what you got going on, Clover? Everything good?
Yeah.
You've been to a 3D printing fool, haven't you?
Yeah, working on some stuff as we speak, as a matter of fact.
Did you ever get the figurine done yesterday?
I have yet to be able to do any type of like an action figure, man. It's frustrating.
It keeps messing up, or what?
Yeah, I haven't figured out the whole what am I thinking? The supports. I haven't figured out the whole supports thing yet. And figures, have issues where their arms are out or something's in midair, and so you gotta have the printer to build up support for those particular parts and whatever.
Yeah.
And man, I thought I had it figured out, and then I got up this morning and took it off the printer, and yeah, it was absolutely horrid. So eventually.
Fantastic. Real quick, just appreciate you, Trav. Yeah. So I just put a link out there. I've been getting a text. So I want to take a second real quick and bring something up, and I don't think he's going to mind me talking a little bit about it because of the link that I just put up. But you guys know our good friend Mike over at Budget Guns and Gear, and he's had a rough go at it. Yesterday, his wife passed away, and obviously that's kind of gut wrenching in any shape, size, or form. But he spent most of the day today working with life insurance and all of that, and is not sure at this point if or when life insurance will, or if they will pay out. And that said, I put a link out in the chat, guys, and do me a favor. And honestly, at this point, I don't give a shit if you do it right now. Go ahead. But Rob, I text you yesterday, and I might have a wrong number for you, but I text you to give me a call. Because I was going to tell you about that over the phone. I didn't want people to find out about this over the internet. So I called some people and told them. Anyways, he started up a GoFundMe, and he wanted he wanted to make sure that I told her probably he hates doing this. And if you know Mike, I understand he hates doing this, but at this point, he's not sure how or when he's going to be able to pay for his wife's funeral services and all of that goes involved with that. So he has started up a GoFundMe. I put the link up out in the chat. I'll put it up there again, and I will put it in the description as well. And what it is, it's a video that he's telling you about what's going on. He's lost his wife, telling you about that, and asking you guys to help support. So what we're going to do for the next, at least this week and probably even next week, the next 2 weeks, once again, I am not asking for you to do this, but we're going to send 100% excuse me, of all super chats for this week's show and next week's show. We'll donate that to Budget's GoFundMe, or you can just go over to the GoFundMe and and donate directly to the GoFundMe. But if you're not one of those people that are familiar with GoFundMe or anything like that, and you want to do what you got to do, and I'll make sure that he gets all of that. But yeah, there's a link out there, and I'm assuming in his link he's going to have the GoFundMe as well. And I'll probably be posting his GoFundMe link out there on all my social medias sometime tonight. So our wishes for happiness for Mike in the darkest times. I know that you never think that there is going to be light. He's been through absolute hell with his family in the last decade. Let's just say it's been a tough decade for Mike. He's truly one of the great guys out there, and is a very good friend. And anyone that's willing to stay under the stairwell and create his own fort at SHOT Show with us, no, it's great. And I love Mike, and I know there's a lot of people out there that do as well. And our thoughts and prayers are with you, Mike, and we hope that you and your family can find a way to find strength in this and all of that. Hey, there's Budget out there. He says things. Love you guys. We love you too, brother. 100% go check out the video out there on Budget's channel. I'll put the link out there a couple times. And go help and support Budget. Like I said, if you don't feel comfortable in doing the GoFundMe thing, super chats here will go to that GoFundMe. So it's up to you guys, but please go and help anything you can, $1, whatever you can afford to help a buddy out in need. And that's kind of what we do here, right? That's kind of what we do in this realm of space, that we're here to help people when they need it. And so, Mike, I know you're out there. I appreciate you calling yesterday and reaching out. It meant a lot to me that you trusted me enough to call. And I wish I could do a lot for you, man. I wish I could, there's only so much we can do so far away, but I'm always here. I know you got a lot of people out here that are always here for you. I don't ever want you to think that you're alone. So I love you, man. And my heart breaks for you. And just remember, every day, wake up, put your pants on, go outside and live a life that your wife would be proud of. And that's how you honor her. And, there's a great quote from Stuart Scott, who died years ago with cancer. He's on Sports Center, and he gave a speech one time, and he said, every day is a fight. Every day is worth a fight, and you got to keep fighting. And when you're too tired to fight, let someone else fight for you. And you got a lot of people here that are willing to fight for you. So I love you, brother. I don't really know what else to say. It's not something that you're used to saying to someone. I just want you to know that we're all here for you, bud. And so, yeah. Go check out Budget's video and try to help out if you can. Okay. Share it out there. Share it out there. There might be people that are willing to help that don't even know Mike, but anyone that can help, thank you for helping him ahead of time. Put one foot in front of the other, bro. That's right. Keep going forward. That's all you can do. Man, you got a lot of support out here, bro. And I told you this yesterday on the phone. Don't be afraid to lean on us. Don't be afraid to lean on us. A lot of us can carry some heavy weight, bro, and have for years. So, yeah. All right. All right. You guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday at 10 a.m. over on our YouTube community tab, we have our pony polls. Let's check out. We have some phone. Let's check out what we got. We put this one out yesterday. Got 1.5 thousand votes. Real simple, guys. Real simple. Ketchup or mustard? Ginger, ketchup or mustard?
I mean, it's a hard one. What is it?
It is a hard one.
I would say ketchup is the most versatile because you're not putting mustard on your French fries.
Or are you?
I mean, I don't know anybody who
I
does.
Don't, but
yeah.
I
mean, ketchup can go with like
Sling
everything.
Blade put them on his potatoes, mashed potatoes. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard because I like ketchup and mustard on a burger, and I like ketchup and mustard on a hot dog. But like, if I'm at a spot and I just like have one condiment, it's normally ketchup.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
hear you.
ketchup is probably the king of condiments.
You know, I was the same way forever, probably until I was in my 20s. Like ketchup was king, right? And then obviously with my wife and all that, I tasted. Hello, that was weird. There's a ghost in here. Apparently, a bag just fell off my safe. I don't know. That was weird.
Well, obviously
Anyways,
there's a ghost in there.
He said it.
there's another one in here. But I tasted like Japanese mayonnaise for the first time, and now I'm a big mayo guy. Like, stand by, talk amongst yourselves. Yes, dear. You're good. Oh shit.
Live. Here we go.
Okay, thank you. Right, bye-bye. So that was my daughter let me know that my wife, who's still in Okinawa, there's a tsunami on its way and they have moved locations. So if I need to get a hold of my wife, I got to call my brother-in-law, which is fine. But I've been through tsunamis and they're not fun. So, yeah. Kewpie mayo is really better. Yeah, and it's more egg also. And that's maybe why I like it. But mayo is, for me, I think my shift from like king of condiments has gone to mayo, and I really like mayo and mustard. Mayo and mustard on like sandwiches are pretty good, but mayo and ketchup on burgers is pretty good too. So,
well, if you're bringing up Japanese mayo, should we also bring up yum yum sauce? Because that's what is
not
yum? Is
around
that
me.
like
that is not Japanese, bro.
No, it's not Japanese, but
that is created. That is
Korean.
created. Yeah,
Is
that
it
is
not Korean?
created at. I don't even think it's Korean. I think it was created at like Benihana's and shit. I've eaten at like legit Korean barbecues before, and I have never seen yum yum sauce until about 4 years ago. Let's just be honest. So I don't know. It's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it is not a traditional sauce at all. Over there, they use a lot of ginger-based steak sauces, garlic-based, or soy-based, and not cream-based. As far as for like yakiniku, which is like the Korean barbecue, right? So, oh, you never heard of Kewpie? Oh, so it's like in a clear bottle. It's kind of more of like a yellowish tint mayo. You find it like Asian stores. You might even find it at Walmart. I think you can find it at Walmart now. If you have it, that's Japanese mayo, and it'll change your life. If you're a mayo person, you think you like mayo, you haven't had anything until you had that mayo. Just saying. Clover, ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think ketchup is like John said. I think it is probably more versatile. I am in the camp. I think like Ginger, I'm in the camp for a hot dog. I know there's a lot of people that say it's sacrilege to put ketchup in any way, shape, or form on a hot dog. I love mustard and ketchup on a hot dog. I like them on corn dogs, mustard and ketchup. A lot of people just say you got to only have mustard. I don't agree with that necessarily. What do you? So like a dog or something, or you're a big corn dog fan at Sonic, Clover. What are you? Hey, take care, budget.
Ketchup.
Your ketchup only? Do you put mustard on corn dogs at all?
I don't do mustard on
At
literally
all?
anything. Yeah. No.
Okay, so you're not a mustard guy at all.
Yeah, it's definitively ketchup for me.
Okay, all right. We had 1.5 thousand votes. 67%, 2/3 of it went towards ketchup. I was actually surprised. Not the fact that ketchup won. I thought it'd be actually close because I know there's a lot of people that they're big mustard fans. I'm a big mustard fan. I'm one of those people that I like ketchup, but it has to be either mixed with mustard or mixed with mayonnaise. I'm not a big just ketchup by itself unless it's for like fries or something, right? But if you haven't tried ketchup and mayonnaise mixed together with your fries, you need to try that too. Just saying, it's pretty damn good. Excuse me. Next one up, put up Saturday's got 1.4 thousand votes. We'll start with Clover on this one. I got a lot of hate in some of the comments saying these aren't even close. How can you put these up against each other? Well, there's a reason. I'm not trying to like compare them. I'm saying like either you like one or the other. You probably like both. Which one do you prefer? That's going to tell you, do you like comedy or do you like drama? So the next question is that 70s show or The Sopranos?
Ouch. That 70s show, though.
I'm the same way. I love The Sopranos. I've watched every episode, but I've probably watched every episode of that 70s shows at least 10 times, like the whole series, at least, if not more.
Yeah, at least 100 for me, right?
Yeah.
The Sopranos is one of those that it's not something you're just going to put on in the background, and
no, it's a little darker.
You don't have the one-liners, and you know,
That's right.
it's not it. You know, I don't know. Light-hearted stuff is things that you can watch over and over and over and over for me.
Yep. One of my favorite actors / actresses, men or women, in the world is Mila Kunis. And that's obviously where she got her big break. But I think that the cast, set aside what they've done off screen, like Danny Masterson, let's just not talk about that. But the cast as a whole, like for that show, was perfect. Like they complemented each other perfectly, and I don't think they could have planned that.
All the way down to supporting, even.
Absolutely,
like Tommy Chong. I mean, amazing.
Sure. I mean, we call this everything to the left 1 inch.
Right.
But I mean, yeah. I mean, you're there are so many ways it could go wrong, right? And it just went right perfectly. It was perfect. It was a great sitcom. Ginger, that 70s show or Sopranos for you?
I'm going to piggyback off of Clover, and he's right. Like, I will never turn on The Sopranos in the background because it's too serious, and it's not.
It is.
So it's
you got to be in the mood, right, to watch The Sopranos. Like, it's got to be like, man, I really want to watch The Sopranos.
I don't even watch The Sopranos because I watched the first season. It reminds me too much of like people I know from my family, from my Italian side. So it's weird. I can't watch it. But I'll watch like now. If you were going to say like if you were going to swap Sopranos with Band of Brothers in that 70s show, I would say Band of Brothers all the way because that's one I can turn on and just watch it in the background.
I mean, Band of Brothers was amazing. It's one of the best series ever. But yeah.
Just
no, I get it. I mean, like that. There's about 3 or 4 shows that at night it's I either got Friends on, I got Seinfeld on, I've got
there's a reason
that 70s shows on, and I've got Big Bang Theory. One of those 4 is typically playing on my TV, and all 4 of those series I could just watch over and over and over and not ever get. As many times I've seen them, never get bored. I can probably quote the whole damn script for you.
We've got a new one.
Oh yeah,
and it's Young Sheldon. We can watch it over.
I never got into Young Sheldon. I've seen a couple episodes, but I've never like started from the beginning and watched it all the way through. I know this is the last season, or it might already be over at this point. I don't know, but
that I don't know because I'm watching on Netflix or whatever. But
I mean, I've watched a couple episodes, but I haven't. I never got that same. Oh, I gotta watch this. Like
Young Sheldon is the. Like it's weird because how do I put it? It's sort of like Big Bang Theory in that it's Young Sheldon, but it's more about the ensemble cast.
Yeah, it's more about the twin sister, and it's probably for the episodes that I've watched.
There's so much
his brothers in it, but his mom and dad are in there a lot.
Yeah. Oh, and Meemaw,
which is cool. And Meemaw, yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's one you mentioned a bunch of shows. There's one show that I used to watch that you did not mention, and that's Scrubs.
Well, Scrubs.
I loved Scrubs, but I can't. Awesome. I don't see Scrubs like on.
Yeah.
It doesn't pop up on any of my streaming services. It's probably on there, but it just doesn't pop up. I was a huge Scrubs fan.
Yep. I've got all of the seasons saved, digital or whatever on a drive somewhere. Scrubs is awesome.
Let me see if I can find out where it's.
Well, that's Scrubs is one of those shows that when you bring it up to people, they all say it's awesome, but they never list it in like the Seinfelds, the Friends, the things like
Oh
that.
no, it's definitely it's on Hulu. Interesting, and Peacock. Okay, I didn't realize it was on Hulu.
Great theme song too.
Oh yeah,
maybe one of the best theme songs.
I've got the theme song in my playlist rotation.
Yeah, but I think Scrubs. I think you're right. I think Scrubs might be of the last 20-25 years, one of the most underappreciated series out there, for sure. What's his name? Plays Perry Cox. Scrubs cast. John C. McGinley.
Yeah.
Perry's character, to me, I know that the three main were the focus of the show, but I think that, Perry Cox, Dr. Cox's character, was one of those that once the show started, I think that his character took on a life of its own and really kind of held that entire show together, and I think was actually the best character on there for sure. I love it. Night Court. Now G23's. What about Night Court? Now, are we talking original Night Court or the reboot from like a couple years ago? Because the reboot was terrible. If we're talking the original back in the 80s and 90s with Marky Post and all those, 100%. I'm in on that. I watched one episode of the reboot and it was terrible. So I'd say another underappreciated one. It was underappreciated. It was actually pretty valued. And I heard they're coming back, but Frasier, I heard, might be coming back.
Frasier has. It already has.
Oh, is it back? Okay. I don't have
like TV.
So
because I don't think,
really.
Yeah, I don't think they brought back Nigel
Kelsey Grammer on it, and
did they?
I think the dad actually died in real life.
Oh, did he? May have.
Now was Miles? I mean,
his dad was a favorite part of Frasier to me.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, I want to say cast John Mahoney, and I want to say he died in 2018. He died in 2018.
That sucks.
Ironically, he was also the manager in a great movie called 8 Men Out. So on the 1919 Red Sox.
Supporting cast in a lot of different things.
No, he was in a lot of stuff. Yeah. I didn't realize it was. I had heard that it was going to come back. I didn't realize that it already was out. But anyways,
certain things are tough for me. Like that 70s show. The thing about that 70s show is that 70s show happened in it was like a flashback type thing.
Yeah.
And so you can get over not having the modern stuff. But like things like Frasier and things like Seinfeld, even to an extent, is that way. Friends starts to get that way, that it gets at some point, like I'm thinking Cheers right now, and it's so far removed, like Cheers is.
Man, I love Cheers.
Because it's everyday life, right? It's not meant to be a flashback. It's meant to be happening right then. And like, just there's no modern stuff to it, and they go to Street View, and the cars are weird, and but you know what? We missed one, I think.
Oh yeah,
we have watched over and over and over, and it's How I Met Your Mother.
Oh yeah. That's a good one. Old Barney, Jason Segel, and man, it's a great one. I watched the first 3 seasons, and then kind of got disinterested in there for a while, missed a few seasons, came back to it, and then watched it as it played out to the end and all that. And since then, I've gone back and watched those 2 or 3 seasons that I stopped watching.
Toward the end, like spoiler alert for anybody out there, but I feel like it fell apart toward the end. It could have.
I agree.
Well, you know what was a great show that was funny that you can't stream is the Drew Carey show was great. At least I remember.
I was honestly my only. See, I'm not a Drew Carey fan. Okay, in general, I will tell you, for me, one person I'm a huge fan of and was my favorite character on that show was Craig Ferguson. I love Craig Ferguson, and I wish he was still doing nighttime TV. He was the best, honestly. I think he was one of the best behind Letterman. He's my second favorite nighttime host ever. But I was never a Drew Carey fan,
That
so I never
surprises
really
me.
watched a lot of it. What's that?
You know why that surprises me? Is because Carey was a Marine.
It doesn't mean I have to like his comedy.
Well,
Though.
I didn't know if
Right.
you.
And I don't know him personally. I'm just saying I don't
There's
like
two
his comedy.
things.
Yeah.
There's two. I did not care for the Drew Carey show either, but Price is Right. I enjoy him on Price is Right, and I absolutely enjoyed him with Whose Line.
No,
Like,
well, okay.
Those two settings. I'm just saying those two settings. I enjoy Drew Carey more than the. Drew
I
Carey
enjoyed on Whose Line, but he was also surrounded by some incredibly talented people on
True.
that show.
But he wasn't near as funny, I don't think, as Aisha Tyler. Like she's.
Oh, Aisha is she took it to a whole nother level, 100%.
Yeah.
And I don't watch The Price is Right. But I will say that it's hard to be a comedian on that show, so I don't know if he did it well or not. I never watched The Price is Right with him on it, so I couldn't tell you. And it maybe not have been Drew Carey that I didn't like. It just might have been the writing or the show itself. I don't know. There was just something about that show.
Very well, man.
Like the only thing that I enjoyed was Craig Ferguson because he was batshit crazy, and I think he's like that in real life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the Drew Carey show. That's just I don't know. That's just me. It's not that great. We should do like a sitcom chat one night. That'd be kind of.
I want
to.
Before we move on, I think there's another poll question, right?
Yeah.
So Calaveras out there has done nothing but hate. He's like, "Oh, that makes my brain hurt. That's stupid. That's blah, blah." So I would love to hear from Calaveras in the chat out there, like some of his like on repeat binge watch TV shows. Like
he's probably watching.
Since everything sucks to him, then it's your turn, bro. It's your turn to speak. Let us know.
He is probably one of those that watches like National Geographic Channel.
Oh, I figured Dynasty or maybe
he's not old
Dallas
enough for Dynasty or Dallas. Now Dallas, I mean
Jersey Shore, Jersey Shore,
Modern Marvels, of course.
Real Housewives of Atlanta, probably.
Yeah,
Criminal Minds.
What was that one? The Vanderpump Rules. I see that popping up all the time. I've never seen it, but I see it pop up all the time.
I gotta worry about people.
So he's not. Apparently he's not into situational comedy. He likes like more serious shit.
More serious stuff. I worry about people that all they watch is serious stuff. Is life not serious enough? Like, don't you have to get away every now and then?
Yeah. See, like
I just thought of one that I binged, and I wished it had more seasons. Dharma and Greg. You remember Dharma and Greg?
Amazing. I can watch Jenna Elfman.
Oh,
no offense.
It was so good.
I had a big crush on her.
So good.
Well, the three I was going to bring up was Boy Meets World, Saved by the Bell, and then
Topanga. I'm all in on Topanga.
Home Improvement, but also what's the other show he did? What was
Last Man Standing?
Last Man Standing.
I was not a fan of that, honestly. Maybe I didn't give it enough chance. I know it's like 1 or 2 episodes. I didn't give it a chance, maybe. But
there is one on Netflix with who's the King of Queens? Guy that was on King of Queens.
Kevin something.
Yeah, you know
Kevin
what I'm talking
something.
about.
I know who you're talking about. Paul Bart Malcop or whatever.
Yeah, right. There is a Netflix one. It's only 1 season, but I enjoyed it. And part of it's him. He's hilarious. But and it's I can't remember the name of it to save my life, but he is a manager or the crew chief or whatever for like a NASCAR.
Yes, that was funny.
Okay, Kevin James. That's right, Kevin James. Thanks, Trev.
James, yeah.
I watched it. That was funny. I wish they brought back another season of that.
The Crew. It may be called The Crew.
Yeah, I think it's called The Crew.
Yeah. It's only 1 season, but it's worth a watch.
I guess I never saw that. Let's go maybe check that out.
Yeah.
They're talking about bringing back Tool Time. No, that would be with.
It's got to be Tim Allen.
I don't know if they can bring back Tim Allen. Man.
He's almost blacklisted, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, people aren't touching him with a 10-foot pole. I don't think that can happen.
I could see.
But I would like to see like a reboot, maybe, or even maybe bring back the kids and let them, all grown up. At least that they'll be part of it. Now, his wife in that was also the wife in Everybody Loves Raymond. Am I correct about that, or is it a different person?
Different person.
Okay, they remind me of the same person.
Raymond's another good one, though.
I was going to say, because I loved Everybody
Peter
Loves
O'Toole?
Raymond. That was a Peter.
What was it?
No, it was Peter O'Toole. Peter
Boyle. Peter Boyle.
Yeah, he was John Lennon's best friend, actually. Go figure. Can you imagine that conversation in real life?
So, interesting tidbit about Everybody Loves Raymond. So
he was also Frankenstein in Young Frankenstein, or he was the monster. He was the monster in Young Frankenstein.
The clock that hung in Raymond's mom's living room, my grandmother had that same clock in her house.
Really?
Yeah, not the same clock, but you know what I mean.
No, I understand that. Yeah,
the exact same design. It was that brand and whatever clock. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Talking about Dharma and Greg, man, that was a good one.
Oh, it's just her
parents. Will and Grace had its moment. I think the early seasons of Will and Grace were hilarious. And then it's like they started writing stuff just to like try to outdo themselves. But the first couple seasons of Will and Grace were so far outside the box for that time frame.
Yeah.
Was amazing as well. Great ones.
Well, they brought that back too.
Did they really? I don't see.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they did.
It wasn't that good.
Let's do this. Okay, let's just go down this rabbit hole. Scrubs for sure. Okay, so let me ask you this, because this has a huge cult following. But there's two of them that I never got into. One is The Office. I never got into.
Me neither.
Or Parks and Rec. I never got into.
Both good.
Yeah.
And the casts are phenomenal. I never got into watching them. So
you have to look at The Office like it's real. If you've ever worked in an office setting, like you gotta look at it from that perspective, and that gives you like a whole new look on it. And Parks and Rec is just what's his name? Who plays Andy? Chris Pratt just makes that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He just makes that show.
Well, I'm a huge fan of Amy Poehler, and I'm a huge fan. I mean, the whole cast is phenomenal. What's her name is also in it. She's been in a bunch of stuff also, but the whole cast of Park Rec is great. But in The Office, next Full House. Okay, Rob. Yeah. But no, there's some great ones. Do you remember one called what was it called? Oh, I just had it on the tip of my tongue. No, it was one of those that it reminds me of a Dixie Chick song. My Name is Earl.
Yes. Oh, My Name is Earl is amazing.
That
was
God,
how did we forget
awesome.
Earl?
Oh, God, that was such a great show as well.
How did we forget Earl? Because Randy is awesome.
Yes, the whole show is great, but
the whole cast actually
good. Yeah.
My Name is Earl is if you took Joe Dirt and put it into a TV series.
Yep. Oh, 100%. I would, and why they didn't, maybe that's what they were trying to do, but why Joe Dirt didn't become a series is beyond me. Because that movie set up, if any other movie has, that movie was set up perfectly for a sitcom. Because you could have gone so many different ways with it,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how did we forget Earl?
Yeah, Earl was a good one. All right. 1.4 thousand votes. 62% say The Sopranos. I will say this.
People need to
well, let's just be honest about it. The Sopranos is widely regarded as one of the greatest series ever created.
Great series. Yeah.
No fantastic series. But if I'm just sitting around on the couch with nothing on,
maybe
I'm turned on 70s. I'm sorry.
I hope that's the route they went when they voted that. I hope they went the route
just better.
Like critically acclaimed or something, which was better.
More awards.
I hope we ain't dealing with that many people that's just watching Sopranos on a loop. Because good Lord, you need to lighten up.
Yeah. So anyone that knows me knows that
Letterkenny.
One of my favorite shows of all time is truly Letterkenny, and I'm glad that it's over because I think it ran its course. Go watch Shoresy and all of that, and it's great. But Letterkenny, if you haven't watched Letterkenny, once you start watching Letterkenny, you'll understand a lot of stuff that I say because I mix a lot of Letterkenny into things that I say and do. You'll understand. And I know that it's not going to be for everybody. I know that Clover and his wife tried to watch it and maybe lasted an episode, and it's not for everyone. I get that. But if you get it and it's for you, it's one of those things. Either you hate that show, or it is one of the greatest things ever created. There's oh, it's okay, because either you can't watch it or you're watching everything. That's just the way it is with Letterkenny. It's one of those polarizing shows. And I wouldn't put Letterkenny in a poll because, let's be honest, it would get slaughtered because it takes a weird, demented sense of humor to really appreciate Letterkenny.
To be fair.
Pitter patter.
Give your balls a tug.
Yeah. And if you really want to take that to the next level, go watch Shoresy, and you're welcome. Scott says, I grew up in the 70s and never liked the 70s show. So, okay. So I'm going to ask Clover this because I think he might get where I'm going with this. I love that 70s show. Mm-hmm. But I am also an enormous fan of Dazed and Confused. And I think that if you like one, I think you'll like the other. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of the same kind of vibe, right? It's the same kind of, obviously, Dazed and Confused is in Texas, and it's a movie built over, one night in the summer in the 70s. But it's got that same vibe. You got kind of similar characters, right? Mm-hmm. You've got, Ashton Kutcher could be Pink, if you will. It kind of can, you've got similar characters and all that. But I think if you like one, you like the other. And that 70s shows, I get it. It may not be for everyone, but for some reason, I always kind of just clicked with 70s for sure.
Did you watch the reboot?
I liked it.
I did. I liked it. I liked it.
I loved it. I thought it could be way better.
I could have been. I think it could. I think that I think they missed out on some moments that would have made it amazing.
Yeah, they missed some amazing throwbacks.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It could have been great. And that wasn't because of different characters. I think they just missed a couple opportunities, whether they weren't willing to take the chance or what. They missed on a couple opportunities that could have made that fantastic.
And then didn't they do one other spinoff? Wasn't there that 80s show that did not last more than a season? Do you remember that?
I don't even remember that. They real could have. God, I hope not. Did they do that? Let me find out.
Yeah.
What was it? That 80s?
It was not. That was not a part of the same canon.
No, it was a different cat. Well, I think Fez was in it. I think that was it.
Of course, Fez, but that was before Fez got on NCIS and was probably just trying to make some money.
I don't think he was.
Brittany Daniel was in it. I'm a huge speaking of Joe Dirt. Brittany Daniel was in that 80s show. I would go watch it just for her.
It didn't last long.
Now, you brought up Saved by the Bell, so I went back and tried to watch Saved by the Bell.
Oh, it's terrible to watch now.
It does not hold up, and I did not realize until I went back to watch it that Saved by the Bell basically took 3 seasons before it ever even became Saved by the Bell. Yeah, and it was so freaking horrible. It was, what was it? Good Morning Miss Bliss or whatever. And then it was the first season was not Saved by the Bell. And if you go watch it in any type of an archive, they redid the intro as Saved by the Bell, but it's not Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, they had different characters for sure. Yeah,
and the focus of it was Haley Mills, the teacher.
Correct.
Was jacked up. And
That
Zach
was
was
when
like a
Zach
secondary
was like
character.
in middle school or something in that one.
Yeah,
Almost.
him and
Yeah.
it was just him and Screech and Lisa, and they were
Yeah.
like secondary characters. Even
Yeah.
it was.
I'll tell you another one that was enormous in the 90s. And I actually, they did a reboot on a couple years ago. But I went back and tried to watch the original was 90210.
Oh yeah,
And 90210 was, let's just be honest, it was huge in the 90s and everyone watched it. It is what it is. But going back and watching those episodes now, it's terrible.
yeah.
Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't.
A lot of that stuff's that way.
Melrose Place held up only because of Heather Locklear and what's her name? The other blonde. Oh, God. Courtney Thorne Smith. I'm in on her, But no, 90210 was not good.
Like, you bring up Courtney Thorne Smith and you missed according to Jim.
According to Jim was a good one. Yeah. I'll tell you another one that I did not like back originally, but it's one of those that has grown on me now. I've gone back and watched the original Roseanne. I was not a Roseanne fan back in the day. I've watched it now, and it's better. It's better now than it was back then. I think
those were on repeat many times at her house.
Yeah.
You know what we really missed? We missed Married with Children.
Well, that's to me, and I might be way overstating this. Like Married with Children's up there with the Friends, the Seinfelds, the Cheers, like all-time great sitcoms.
The problem is it was very limited market because it
was on Fox and no one never heard of Fox,
Yeah. Like
it actually made that in The Simpsons. Fox would not be here if it wasn't for Married with Children. Yeah, but Married with Children was the first. Like that was it wouldn't be here without Married with Children.
Fox had some phenomenal stuff back in the day, but it was just overshadowed because it was on Fox, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the early days of CW was the same way. The early days of CW, like nobody knows any of this. Like now they're like, what was this show? This is awesome. And it's like, yeah, that was 30 years ago on the CW.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, John. We didn't mention it, but I think that Married with Children is one of those that you don't have to like. That's an all-time great.
That was a modern day All in the Family. Married with Children.
So you can't do All in the Family anymore.
It's a very similar vibe.
Honestly, to be honest with you, I don't think that you could get away with Married with Children today either. I don't think they could do it today.
There's no way. Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah. Now I heard Screech died. Did he not die? I know he was in.
I heard he did too, but you hear a lot of weird stuff like that.
Yeah, Dustin Diamond. He died February of 2021. Yeah, he died. He sure did. He is not with us anymore. Someone said he was in jail. I think he was in jail, but I thought he was.
He was not in a Saved by the Bell bring back, and I was like, why is there no Screech?
I didn't know there was a Saved by the Bell bring back.
Yeah, there was a bring back with it was like a spinoff like that 90s show where the kids of the original cast.
Scott Herring says Diddy's going to be under the jail. He's never coming back to America. I promise you that. He better live his life over there in a non-extraditional country because, yeah, he comes back to America. He's got some serious issues. So, man, we could have gone on that forever. It was already an hour into the show. We still haven't finished with our polls, which I don't mind because, I can talk comedies all the time. But our last poll question goes into our topic tonight. This one was last Thursday. It's got 2.1 thousand votes. What's your favorite zero? 36-yard zero, the 100-yard zero, or the 5,200 zero? Ginger, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say the 36-yard zero.
All right. Obviously, it's kind of weapon system and caliber specific, but in general, my favorite zero is the 36-yard zero. Clover, what about you? What's your kind of, what zero works best for you in general?
If I've got to choose in general, 100, because the math is easier.
That's fair. Yeah. And I did a video over the weekend kind of talking about zeros, and I said, basically for AR-10s or anything that's going to be going out past 300 yards, really, because anything's inside 300 yards with an AR, I'm going 36 yard zero. But anything that's going to push out there, whether it's bolt action or whatever for competition, my 100 yard zero for me, and honest to God, that is the big reason. And I even put that in the video. The big reason is for me not being very smart. The mathematics with 100 yard zero is easier for me to calculate quicker.
Even for under 100, for sub 100, it's still easier.
Oh yeah. But I'm just saying, like the 100 yard zero for me is calculating those different adjustments is easier for me for sure. So we're going to talk a little bit about zeros, and we're going to talk about maybe some different platforms. If you're out there and you're having a question, maybe on a specific cartridge or system, platform, whatever, and you're out there and you might want to know, especially if you're listening in replay or listening in podcast, utilize that comment section. But out there in the lights, I want to hear what you guys are zeroing your different things in. But I want to start out with something that one of the reasons why I'm doing this chat is I actually have a question. I'm actually going to, I know it's hard for people I don't know something. I know that's, whoa, take it back. No. But I'm also one of those people that will always tell people when I don't know something, and I have no problem asking for help. As you guys know, not just John and Clover, but everyone out there listening, as you guys know, over the last month or 2 or 3, starting to get into, or not get into, but starting to mess around with pistol dots, right? Going to give it a second chance, open my mind up, let it sink in, see if I enjoy dots or not on pistols. I've heard from a lot of different people that I trust. I've talked to a lot of people about it, but I keep getting different answers. So I want to pose this question not only to Ginger and to Clover, but you guys out there also. For, let's just go with like a 9mm semi-automatic pistol, that type of thing. Like I've heard 15, I've heard 25, I've heard 50, I've heard 7. What yardage either do you utilize, or what do you think optimizes pistol dots the most to zero a pistol dot? And this is an open conversation, guys, because I'm legitimately asking, because I've asked a lot of different people. I've watched a lot of videos, and I've heard 7, 10, 15, 25, 50. And every one that I've asked, or every video that I've watched that is talking about those specific zero yardages, have compelling reasons why. You guys know me. More likely, it's going to be something that I'm not going to go take out 200 yards. It's going to be, whatever. So I'm going to start with you, Ginger. For a pistol dot, what's kind of your go-to zero distance?
I would say 15 yards, just because that's normal pistol engagement distance. I mean, I'm not taking a 100-yard shot with my pistol.
Yep.
If I'm going to a 100-yard shot with my pistol, I'd rather run to grab my rifle. But
that's me too.
I set it up because I know that from where I would stand in my mind, that I have to advocate with that in my mind, that's about 15 yards from where I would be to either the front door or the back door if somebody were to break in. So I zero for that.
Sure.
Because that's what I'd be using. And then in between there, I mean, that if you're aiming center mass, your dot and your round should impact pretty much point of impact going in closer.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking
it's not going to be low enough where you actually have to like aim higher. It's just instead of being here, it might hit there or something,
Right. So I've always done 15 yards. It's just because that's normal. That's what they normally say is your bubble, your 15-yard bubble.
Yeah. Well, and you know me though, so I want to throw this caveat into this question, and it might change your answer. And I'm not suggesting anyone else does this. This is my opinion. This is what I do. I am in no way, shape, or form saying that anyone should do this. Probably inside 10 yards, let's be honest, I'm probably pointing and shooting. Right? Let's just be honest. So my initial thought was either 15 or 25 yards. I don't know if the 25 yard is really going to do much for me because I don't plan on, if I'm at 25 yards away from somebody, I'm not so sure that's a justified shot in most situations, right? So I was kind of leaning towards 15 initially. And so, yeah, as you're saying, Clover will bring you in real quick and kind of get your go-to pistol zero.
Carry, defensive, whatever, use.
Yeah.
21 feet.
So 7 yards. Okay.
So because
someone out there said 7 yards, and that makes sense.
Since that's, commonly known as the average, engagement distance, or the max engagement distance.
The max, yes, actually more like 12 feet.
Yeah,
really
more like three or something.
Yeah.
Is the average.
3 yards. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the max engagement distance. Then I'm dead on, as tight as I can be at my max. So anything, kind of like you said, anything less than that, you're going to start getting into point shoot anyway.
Yeah.
And so it's not really going to matter. Anything outside of that, you started getting into, like you said, do you even need to engage? And if you do, it's going to exponentially, the likelihood of you not needing to engage is exponentially going to increase with every foot, right?
Yeah.
So,
no, exactly.
Let's say that it's, instead of 21 feet, let's say you're at 30 feet, you're at 10 yards or even 12 yards, right? You're talking about a silhouette shot. You're easily going to hit that, at that distance. So now,
let me ask you this.
Fun guns, a different story. I'm going to go 25-0 on most of my fun gun.
Yeah. So how do I put this? Okay, so let's just say a 7 yards here, because I haven't done any ballistic tests on pistol dots at all, right? So at a 7 yard zero, right? Let's say you're pushing out to 25 yards, right? At this point, how much deviation of point of impact versus point of aim on a 7 yard zero? I don't, you guys might not have done this, but like if I'm gonna have a 7 yard zero, but I would take that, let's say a 25 yard shot, right? Like, are you still probably hitting the silhouette with that zero?
What size dot are we talking? Is it a 3 MOA dot? Is it a 2 MOA dot?
Well, the dots that I have are 3 MOA dots. So let's just say, yeah, it's going to be like a 3 MOA dot. But like I say, what I'm saying is, let's say I zero this Omega at 7 yards, right? And I'm going to go out to, I probably should do this myself, but go out to the range and stand at the 25 yard line and shoot steel at 25 yards to see where the impact is. But have you guys tested that to where would it still hit that silhouette, or am I going to have to hold it all, or what? I don't know.
I've shot 15 yard zero, and we've walked back to 25 yards just a full round, and I've always held same hold.
Yeah, a 15 yard zero I think would be fine. And Clover with a 7 yard zero.
Yeah.
Are you still probably pretty good at 25 as far as hitting that silhouette?
Anywhere from, so I'll tell you this. So I could do that. I could do that zero, and I can comfortably shoot 6-inch steel at 75 yards.
On the same zero.
With that, on that same zero, and I may be holding the edge of a 6-inch plate, but I'm not like off of the plate. You know what I mean?
Perfect.
I'm not like
that's
way
what I need
off
to know.
Crazy.
Absolutely.
So, I even out to 75 yards, I can be within, depending on the handgun. There's different factors, but
no, I get it.
Easily be within 6 inches. Yeah. Which is, again, on target.
And it's different between 115 grain and 147 grain defensive ammo. So let's just talk about that as well. But
true.
That's something we need to talk about also, is I think that if someone's going to zero a pistol, and let's say that pistol is primarily, if not exclusively, going to be utilized for carry or home defense, that you plan on using let's just throw out a 147 grain defensive round, hollow point, whatever you want to use as a defensive round. I see too many people that are not wanting to waste shots, because let's just be honest, most defensive ammo is a lot more expensive, sometimes double the price of what range ammo is. So they're going to take their normal 115 grain range ammo and zero their dot, and then they're going to throw in 147 grain defensive rounds, and I hate to tell you, it ain't going to be the same. So
it ain't, but most defensive distances, it's not going to be. It's going to be
once again, yeah, because you're talking at 21 feet. I get it, but what I do want to tell people is, there's a great way of doing this. Okay. I'm not saying, some people do it like once a month or once a quarter. I do it like twice a year, like summertime and wintertime, right? I will change out my defensive ammo in my handguns, and what I usually do is whatever mag I've got in there, it gives me a reason to go shoot that ammo. So I will go to the range and shoot it. Now, what I'll probably end up doing also is zeroing a dot with that ammo while I'm shooting it. I'm going to put the same ammo, but new ammo in that magazine and be good to go. But if you're interested in doing that, I think that you should be rotating your ammo out at least once a year, if not twice a year. That said, while you're doing that, you might as well utilize that specific ammo to check the zero of your pistol or your whatever you're shooting. So that's just my opinion. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I think you're right, but what I do is I will use a defensive load that has a range ammo that is its equivalent. So like SIG.
Like
if
a
you
SIG.
use,
There you go. The
yeah,
V Crown.
like a SIG, V Crown, or even the Spear, their gold dots cross around. So that's what I do. And then, just like you, every time I rotate, I'll go out and fire that ammo to go test and make sure my zero is good. And normally it's spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a chance.
Another thing that I'll do, and both of those ideas are solid. I will zero. I'll get a 7-yard zero with the ammunition I intend on using for defensive purposes. Yep. Turn right around and use a readily available ammunition, something that I like, range ammo that I like, that I keep plenty of. Maybe even it's a hand load or something for that matter, right? But it's something that I consistently, it's not some off the wall, oh, I got it on sale, so and so, right? And I will turn right around after it's zeroed and run some of that through it. That way I know my dope. And it's like, oh, okay, well, this is, let's say, 2 inches low, right?
Yeah. If it's zero with 147 grain, but now you're going to shoot 115 grain, it's nice to know what your dope would be.
So it's 2 inches low. So now I know, as long as I'm out on the range playing around, I know as long as I'm 2 inches low, I know that my optics are on for my carry ammo.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's a solid point there. G23 says, Ghost, are you paying attention to the lots also or no? The only time that I give a shit about lot numbers is competition ammo. Yep. That's the only time. I don't care about carry ammo or anything like that. I don't care. When it comes down to competition ammo, whether it was for IDPA or now PRS, I find myself doing a lot more now with PRS than I was with IDPA, right? Because once again, now you're talking PRS and the long range stuff, the horny stuff that I use. Yes, I 100% am paying attention to lot numbers. But in general, I do not. Ginger, I'll come back to Chloe in a second. Ginger, are you one of those guys that cares about lot numbers with ammo? Make sure it's all on the same lot?
No, but what I do is I keep.
You do?
Yeah. I keep the lot. I keep the boxes now. I learned a long time ago that if you don't keep the boxes and you don't have the lot number, if you have a problem and you call the ammo manufacturer, they just tell you to pound salt. I'm not going to name the company, but it's a reputable company, a very big, reputable defensive load company that I had 2 squib loads in defensive loads.
Oh, wow.
And I called them and they were just like, well, you don't have the lot number, so you can go pound salt. And I was like, well, this is
So
defensive.
you don't pay attention to them when you're buying or shooting them, but you keep them just in case.
Yes.
Okay. But as far as, so I mean, I get that, but I'm assuming this is what he's talking about. But like when you're at Academy or your local gun shop or wherever or even online or whatever, wherever you're buying your ammo, does the lot number play a role in your purchasing that ammo? Like, does
Not
it have to
unless
be the same lot number or not?
not unless there's a recall. Not for practice ammo, at least.
It's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Clover, what does the lot number, how big of a role does that play in your decision making, if any?
Only in the competitive world. Maybe hunting. Maybe.
Oh, see, that's not even in my realm. So
But you don't burn enough ammo for that to be really.
Yeah, you can go through a box in a whole season, it may be 2 seasons, right?
Right. So that's not that big of a deal. But competition, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely competition, 100%. Other than that, lot number does not play a role in my decision making.
Now I'll keep
at all.
What Ginger said. I do dump a lot out of the boxes into other containers just because they're easier to transport back and forth to the range, keep track of things, whatever.
Same.
And I can put 250 round, let's say, in 100 round, whatever it might be. But one thing that I will do is I will cut the box that has the info.
Oh, just that little panel,
and put that in the container with my, and regardless of what it is, whether we're talking 22, 9, 40, whatever it is, if I take it out of the original box and put it into something else, and I do that for 2 reasons. Number one is, like John says, if there's ever a problem, like I don't really care about getting my $15 back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But be nice to report that or know if I've got,
make sure everybody else knows. Hey, is anybody else having a problem
if there's
with
a
this
recall?
Or whatever?
Yeah. And then the second thing is so that I know exactly what ammo that is. I mean, how often do you see people that get stuff and just dump it all into an ammo can? And especially dump it all in this mixed, and it's like, oh my God, like that's different brands and like all kinds of stuff, and you don't have a clue. So I always keep that in there. Now I'll throw that tag away once that box is empty, and I go to put more ammo in it, but and put a new part of the box, whatever you want to call it. But it helps me keep track of the brand and the weight and all that stuff too. So multi-purpose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a question for you.
For me?
So when you guys are re-zeroing your dots, are you
talking pistols or rifles or what?
Pistols, rifles. When you're confirming it with let's just say your defensive loads, is this cold bore, or are you doing it after a range session with a hot bore?
I do cold bore, me personally, and here's why. If I ever have to utilize that pistol, let's say, or a gun in a defensive situation, it's going to be shot cold bore. Like, chances are I'm not going to be at the range and then half an hour go to the grocery store and have to use my gun, right? So chances are it's going to be a cold bore when I utilize it. So I try to zero everything cold bore. That's just me. And I'm glad you brought that up, because that is actually why I do it that way. I have no problem with anyone doing it after a 100 round, range session. I got no problem with that. But chances are, in a defensive situation, you're not going to be at the range and then have to use it. It's going to be, it might be a month since you've last shot that gun. I'm just saying, it very well could be. So for me, it's cold bore 0, 100%. Clover, what about you?
I don't worry about it. It's going to be negligible.
Yeah, it is going to be negligible, but for me, it actually is a thought process. It is.
So I don't worry about it. But I also don't. I'm not a proponent of, I take my carry gun, I go out to the range, I shoot, I play around, I do whatever, and then I come back and I clean it and I put it on my hip and I go about my business. I'm going to go out after I clean it and shoot it anyway. So it's going to be dirty. It's going to be a little dirty. It's not going to be filthy, 100 rounds to it or anything crazy like that. But it's going to have a few rounds to it to make sure that it runs. So, I try to I don't know, how do I want to say that? You get where I'm going with that. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
it's just a lot more realistic, I guess, situation or scenario. But I mean, if you've got a dirty bore, or and it takes a lot to get a barrel hot too. You got to think
It
on most
does. I mean,
handguns, the barrels are pretty thick, and I mean, you
it's
really
gonna
got to
it's gonna
burn
take
down.
it's gonna take a couple hundred probably in a
Yeah,
pistol. You know.
yeah, and then I mean, are you burning that much that quick to try to sight one in? Like you
Yeah.
maybe you need a better handgun rest, or you need a better optic because your optic's goofy, or the mount, or the screws, or you got some kind of problem.
Well, I'm more thinking if you're going out to the range to train, you're firing 2, 3, 400 rounds as quick as you can against time. That gun's going to get pretty hot, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
going to go, okay, I'm leaving. I'm going to re-sight in, make sure everything's still good. So that gun, that's my thought process on
No,
that.
no, no. I don't disagree with your thought process, because to a certain extent, that's my thought process as well. Is I'm going to zero it cold, because chances are in that defensive situation, that's how it's going to be. That said, okay, I don't suspect that there's going to be that much difference. I really don't. I don't suspect that you're going to
It's
have to
negligible.
hold between a hot barrel and a cold barrel. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I don't suspect it's going to be that much to where you sit there and say, well, God, now I've got to aim at his forehead to hit him in his nose, or I've got to aim at his mouth to hit him in his forehead. Like, I don't think there's going to be that much difference. That's just
there's not. It's going to be negligible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's my thought too. But also, do you
Now,
guys?
if we're talking rifles at 100 yards or something like that, now that could get into a different issue, because barrels get hotter faster on rifles. Plus, you're talking about distance, 100 yards or 200 yards. That could be something different. Competition, when you might be shooting anywhere from 300 yards to 1,000 yards at PRS, it's a different. It is going to be different between a hot barrel and a cold barrel. That's just the way it goes. But for pistol, I don't suspect it's going to be much. Go ahead. I'm sorry, let me interrupt you.
No, and
I like the sound of my own voice.
No, it's great. I love it. No, you brought up and I forgot to bring this up earlier. You brought up the 7-yard versus 25, or 15 versus 25 yard.
Yeah.
And I remember now, remember the guy in Indiana, was it Dicker? The guy who shot the guy at the mall? Do you remember that?
I don't.
Dickens.
Last year.
I think it's Dickens.
Dickens, yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't remember. I remember vaguely the shooting, but I don't remember like the players in it, right?
right. So there was, after that came out, everybody was doing the drill. So I
Sure.
remember shooting at 7 yards and then going out to, I think he was at 43 or 45 yards out on a shot, and I shot that, and there was no difference that I could tell of whole point of aim, point of impact.
Yeah.
I mean, and you got to think of, like, if that's the thing with pistol ammo that you don't, like rifle ammo, you see, like, it's got the curve on the box. If you read the box of specific rifle ammo, it says, okay, your zeros here at this distance, you're going to be this high, and then the curve comes back down. You don't see that on pistol ammo, because I don't feel like there's that much of a curve with pistol ammo.
There's not. I think pistol ammo in general is a much flatter shooting ammo. And when I say this, I'm speaking specifically with 9mm, right? I'm not going to speak for 22 LR. There might be a lot different curve in 22 LR because of the weight and all of that. 9mm, I think from 0 all the way to at least 50 yards, right? I'm not going to say to 100 yards, but I think all the way up to 50 yards, you might have to, let's say, aim a little bit high or low. But I don't think that I think that if you go center chest, you're still going to hit the silhouette. 9mm is a relatively flat shooting ammo. I would say I would feel comfortable at 50 yards. Outside that, you're going to have to know what your ammo is doing. That's just my opinion.
No, I don't disagree.
But I don't plan on taking a pistol shot outside of 50 yards. I, honest to God, don't think that I would ever plan on needing to take a pistol shot outside of 25 yards. That's just me. I don't
No, I think
expect that.
well, and that comes down to the old debate of the 21-foot rule. You know,
Yeah.
if you take a 50-yard shot, and let's just say let's not put it on that situation. Let's just say it's a normal situation. You've got somebody who's screaming at you, point stuff. You know, if you take a 50-yard shot, the lawyers and the prosecutors are going to eat you alive.
Yep.
Because they consider that a
It's going
distance
to
that
be
you
very
can go away.
difficult to justify self-defense shooting at 50 yards. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
That said, I'm going to bring Clover in because we were talking about 9mm being, out to 50 yards, it's a relatively flat shooting ammo. I mean, I shot a lot of 22, but I've never really done ballistics and checks with 22 LR.
It's not that bad.
From zero, let's say a 22 LR pistol, not a rifle, one of your bookmarks, right? From 0 yards out to what yardage do you feel comfortable shooting 22 LR without having to adjust your point of aim?
Ooh, depends on the size of the target.
Let's say a silhouette, right? Let's just say a home defense, a B-52 silhouette target.
Adjusting point of aim to be able to hit the silhouette. Is what you're saying?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, I could go 100 all day long.
Okay. There you go.
Not worry.
Okay.
Yeah. Easily. What I was fixing to say is I got so the Ruger Mark II that I picked up a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
So I had to do a little bit of work on it today. I was having some issues with it. Turns out it was the competition grip that was on there getting in the way of the magazine, and we all know magazines aren't seated right. You have all kinds of issues. So nothing wrong with the pistol itself. But anyway, part of that, and we're talking about irons on this, but I did a little bit of adjustment on the irons on it, and just made sure, and they were pretty much dead on at 25 yards for that thing, right? I was hitting still at 75 and actually having to hold just a tad low on that 6-inch steel.
Interesting. Yeah.
And that's with Remington Thunderbolts. So I would have had no problem shooting center on a silhouette at 100.
Well, and that's something that we haven't discussed, and I assume, and that's my problem is I assume that everyone is out here in the live chat knows this, but people watching this or listening to some podcast may not. But there is a difference also between going subsonic ammo and supersonic ammo and whatever cartridge and caliber you're using. So
it does
be aware of that.
Subsonic in a lot of situations flies a little more consistently. That's why your match grade ammunition, specifically in 22, but also in a lot of handgun calibers, is subsonic. It's because you don't have that breaking of the sound barrier, and you don't get that. I forgot what they call it, but there's like when you break the sound barrier, you get like this pulse or this bump. You know what I mean? And you stay consistent because you're not breaking that sound barrier. We shot exclusively subsonic match grade ammunition and was shooting all the way out in competition to 110 meters with subsonic. And I mean, it did fine. Now, were there different holds? There was different holds because we're talking the silhouette, not silhouette as in the man looking silhouette, but silhouettes as in still silhouette, that are shaped like animals that you knock over. But we had to zero weird because we had different target sizes at different distances we had to shoot, right? And so, but I mean, it was totally capable of knocking over a big steel silhouette at 100 yards. So plenty of power. Man, it was something that was my train of thought. Before you asked that, what were we talking about?
We were talking about, John, you were talking about, you brought the subject up, didn't you?
Yeah, we were talking about 9mm and how flat it shoots compared to how pistol ammo normally shoots a little bit flatter than a rifle round, and how you don't have the curve that you normally see in a rifle round.
I don't remember. There was something. It wasn't that. There was something that before we got off on the subsonic that I was going to bring up.
Well, you brought up iron sights. Do you guys? I know we're talking about dots, but do you adjust your pistol iron sights at all?
If they're
adjustable. You ever had to?
If they're adjustable.
Absolutely. Oh, I know what I was going to mention. Thanks, John. So at longer distances, specifically with a handgun,
Yeah.
we're talking about the drop because of the ammo. You're more likely to miss because you flinch left and right
Oh,
than dropping
100%.
ammo.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just to throw that
The
out there. Don't,
anticipation or just gripping the
yes,
trigger wrong
you
and yeah,
have to be dead
you're a mechanic.
on left and
Yeah.
right at
Yeah.
that kind of a distance. So,
Yeah.
if you're not good enough, then it's irrelevant whether or not the ammo's high or low because you're going to miss left or right.
Absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, John. You want to talk about irons? Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, only if it's adjustable, you mess with it. Do you mess with? Let's just say because there's a Glock sitting in front of me. A Glock. If it's shooting consistently off a bench, we're gonna say bench rest because among us, because human error. If it's consistently shooting right, are you gonna adjust the rear sight, or are you just gonna leave it be and calculate for that?
Oh, I'm adjusting. If I can adjust, I'm adjusting if it's consistently off. If it's not off for another reason, I'm gonna check. I'm gonna eliminate human error, obviously, as much as possible, and then I'm gonna check for other issues. That could be the issues at the muzzle, maybe muzzle damage, or maybe some kind of a weird ammo problem. I mean, I'm gonna look into all of that stuff, and then if it's like, but the thing with a handgun, and especially if you're talking about the 21 feet rule, if it's that bad off left or right that you have to start cranking on sights, like something's probably wrong.
That's what I was gonna say. The only guns that I actually adjust would be a competition for my competition handguns, right? And I've got 3 or 4 of them that I have 2 that I typically use, but I have 3 or 4 that I think there's a couple others as backups. So I will adjust those. That said, 2 things caveat to me. One, I don't suspect that at the distances that I plan on shooting, what Clover was alluding to, that it's going to make that much difference. Okay. Secondly, it depends on. So the first one is, I don't think it's making a difference, but I'm not worried about it unless it's way off, right? And like Clover said, if it's way off, like that's probably an issue with something else. So I don't. It depends on how much off we're talking. If we're talking, it's an inch or 2 inches at the most, I'm probably not adjusting. I'm just going to point in the center and know that's going to hit my silhouette. If it's for competition shooting, something like that, then obviously I'm going to adjust those because I need to make sure that I've got the best chance to be as accurate as possible. But honestly, aside from a competition gun, I'm probably just going to hold, or I'm probably not even going to do anything. I'm just probably going to just point center mass, and it might hit an inch or so left or right. Chances are I'm going to do that anyways, just being naturally bad with the trigger sometimes. So I'm not adjusting, honestly, 99.9% of the time. That's just me.
Well, I brought that up because I bought a P226 the one time off of an old cop buddy, and I went to go shoot it, and I'm like, why am I hitting right? Consistently hitting right, and I thought it was me. And then I looked at the gun; he drifted the front sight over a lot to adjust for flinching and everything. So I don't know.
Yeah, some people rifle, pistol, whatever, they adjust sights for their lack of fundamentals.
I look at that as a chance to get better, to fix that myself and not adjust it. That gives me, once again, I'm competitive. I find ways to try to compete. Yeah, instead of adjusting my sights for all of that, I'm probably just going to try to get better mechanics. More importantly, I'm not even going to think about it. Let's just be honest. For me, once again, I'm not speaking for Clover, for you, John, or anyone else. For me, if we're talking a negligible half-inch, inch and a half, whatever, a little bit right off of a target with a handgun at 15 yards or whatever, I'm not going to think twice about it. Once again, I'm also with handguns. People know this about me. I am not the guy that is a precision handgun person, a belief system. I'm a defensive handgun belief system that says I want to end the threat. So if I'm able to hit the silhouette consistently, putting, let's say, 15 rounds in a few seconds, and they all hit the silhouette, I don't particularly give a damn where in the silhouette that it hits. That's just me. I want to end that threat. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Clove.
There may be something to be said if you're out there and you have a handgun that, quote unquote defensive handgun that you start having to drift sights on. You might just need another handgun. Like that
This
may
is
not
true.
fit you well,
And it may not be the handgun or the sights. It's just, like I said,
it
just
could be the
you
grip,
may not
grip
be,
angle, the trigger pull.
it might be a little snappy that you like. You just don't realize that you don't like it. Yeah. 100%.
It may, your defensive handgun needs to be one that you're naturally good with.
Yeah.
And that you enjoy shooting.
That's
those two things
absolutely.
to me are very important. Before you start even getting into calibers and actions and brands, does it is it comfortable? Are you accurate? Are you naturally accurate with it? All of that stuff. You got to check those boxes, I think.
And to be honest with you, that's why I went with the Glock 19 as my primary. And I've got two of them that are specific.
Well, that's why I haven't.
For competition, because as much as people will jog on it, for some reason, a Gen 3 Glock 19, one, it feels great in my hand, and I'm naturally pretty accurate with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just naturally, I don't have to worry about the grip angle. For me, it kind of puts where I want it to be, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I went with the Glock 19 for competition. Is I naturally am pretty good with that gun.
Yeah,
what were you saying?
That's the reason I haven't gotten away yet from the Glock 42.
Yeah.
It's just so pick it up and go. It's so phenomenal. Like it's fun to shoot. I'm plenty accurate with it without having to worry about anything or even really pay that much attention to it.
Yep.
Just
Yep. Anything else, John? Go for it.
Well, you brought up changing handguns if you're not accurate. I think that we've got this issue now that a lot of people, all these new guns are coming out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to go smaller, more capacity, and all that stuff.
See, I'm the opposite. Ask me 5 years ago, I was trying to be a small, and now I'm trying to get the biggest that I can, that actually feels good carrying or whatever,
Yeah, I think that's the issue is that a lot of people go, I want the smallest, most whiz bang thing, or we see it a lot with gear. People think that if they buy gear, it'll automatically fix their issues. But yeah, I think that's one of those things where you gotta, like Clover said, you gotta find the gun that's comfortable, that you shoot well, and then you just carry it. And you work your dress around that. There's a ton of new ways to carry a gun. You just got to find that pocket that it fits perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. Or change your wardrobe style. Yeah. I mean, but what it is. Bearded Guy out there says, "Go. So what do you do if you buy a used pistol and turns out that the frame was causing you to miss and you can't afford a new one?" That's a legitimate question. What I would honestly say, Bearded Guy, is I would have to hope. I'm not going to assume. I would like to assume, but most importantly, I'd like to hope that you shot that gun before you bought it.
Or you bought it
that way, know what it is. I don't know. I mean, I would never buy a used gun without shooting it. One, because I don't know if it actually mechanically works or not. Two, you'll need to know if it's going to cause you to miss or whatever. That's just me. I'm not judging. So let's just take your question as a basis. Taking all the assumptions out and presuming that you didn't have time, nor you weren't at a range or whatever, you bought this used pistol and it turns out the frame was causing you to miss and you can't afford a new one. If it's a mechanical issue with the frame, or are you talking like the grip or whatever is just not naturally good for you and it's causing you to miss naturally? If that's the case, I would say shoot it as much as you can, and hopefully eventually you get used to that gun and you can naturally change maybe some of your mechanics in your hand grip or whatever to utilize it. That said, if you're going to go and shoot 500 to 1,000 rounds, through that gun just to get used to it, then you had enough money to afford a different gun, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
What do
I
you
don't know.
say?
Well,
Can you expand on? Sorry, Clove. Can you expand on what you mean by bent frame? Is it a polymer? Is it metal frame? Because he put in the comments it was a bent frame.
That's something
What does
that
that
one of two
mean?
things. Well, one of two things. Either you go back to the guy you bought it from and say, "Give me my money back," or you send it back to the manufacturer and hope to God they have a good customer service and will take care of it for you.
yeah. So I'm gonna tough love here, and I'm gonna say, if you're in a situation to where you can't afford to buy just one handgun, you need to take a little more care and precaution into where you buy that handgun. The same,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah.
It doesn't cost you anything to take care and precaution. Instead of buying it out of the back of a truck in the Walmart parking lot somewhere from some dude you met on
Well, I
Facebook,
think he was in California, so
go to
yeah.
a local gun shop.
I think he
When
did. He said
when that
the
yeah,
gun shops only don't allow you to
you
test
can't.
it. So I'm assuming, yeah,
I get it, but go to a local gun shop that is
or maybe
nice,
more
reputable, and up to
reputable.
stand.
Yeah,
That preferably has a gunsmith on staff. That way, you're pretty sure that all the used guns were checked beforehand, so you're not going to get one with a
or
bent
at least
frame.
ask that question on a used gun. Was
And
this checked
then,
out by a gunsmith?
yep,
Since you got traded in or whatever.
and then ask their return policy if there's something
Yep.
mechanical that goes on since you can't shoot it there.
Yep.
And then, if they refuse, then get a lawyer involved. I mean, just to
I
write a
think
letter or
that
do something.
if it's I agree with what
File
you're
your own
saying.
civil suit that costs like $45, if nothing
Yeah,
else.
no, I would agree with that. What I would also say is, depending upon what brand it is, if it's a brand that's been around, it's one of the bigger, I'm not saying like a Smith or a Glock, but I mean, even, brands that are smaller companies, but have been around for a while, typically their customer service is good or they wouldn't be around for a while. So if all else fails, contact them, call them on the phone. Don't do it through email or whatever. Call them on the phone and hopefully you get someone to answer and talk with someone and say, look, here's a situation. Can I send this back? And any company that's worth their weight at all, they don't want someone that has having issues with their guns for a lot of different reasons. One of which, if you actually have to use it in a defensive situation, they want their gun to perform. But most importantly, just a pride thing. They're probably going to be willing to say, yeah, absolutely, send it in and we'll take a look at it.
So,
Well,
I don't know.
is this so for the bearded guy out there? Answer me this question real quick. Is this a hypothetical you threw out, or is this something that
I
actually
don't think it
happened?
is. I think he said a bent frame, and then he comes back on and says he has two shops. Both of them have a no return policy on
I
used
wouldn't
guns.
buy from those
I
shops.
wouldn't go from there. I would drive an hour somewhere else.
I drive an hour
before I
as it
did that.
is. I would drive 4 hours
Yeah.
if I had to. What are you talking
Yeah.
about?
well, my question is it a polymer frame or a metal frame gun? Because if it's a polymer frame gun, those frames are kind of hard to bend. But if it is, there's a possibility he could get a replacement frame.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a metal frame gun, that's a totally different ball game.
Still
But again,
it's still a bad
metal. It
situation
is a
for it to
metal
get
frame gun.
bent.
Yeah,
How
how
I
How do
can't
you know it's bent?
imagine.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't get
was
that.
it to a metal frame gun to get bent? That's a lot of force that had to be thrown into
And I
it.
still
And other
don't.
So
things
I don't know if
likely
it was
wouldn't work.
maybe it was a police trade-in.
I don't know. I still don't imagine. I can't imagine that manufacturer
Can
would
you
have a problem with you sending it back and fixing it for you. I just
can
don't
you
see
say the
that being a
brand?
problem.
Can
Bearded guy,
you
if
put
you
the
feel comfortable out there
yeah.
putting the brand and model, hey, it's a Smith & Wesson MMP 2.0 or Glock 19 or
California, it ain't going to be too different.
there's only about 15 of them that it can be.
Oh, it's an
You said
RIA.
Arms Corps.
Forget it. You're dead in the water. You
You're
shouldn't have
probably
bought an Arms
screwed.
Corps.
Let's just be honest.
And that thing was probably bent from the factory, just so you know.
Yeah,
and also the problem is with calling that company. There are 27 different people that you're gonna have to talk to just to get an answer from. That's just reality.
Again, I go back to the tough love, preemptive.
Rock Island 1911, I'm assuming is what he's saying. So
Yeah.
Tough love, preemptive, make better purchasing decisions. And it doesn't help you now, but
he was saying, and that's a quality question that Midnight Range is out there. He mentioned earlier that the bent frame was causing him to miss his targets. Midnight Range says if the frame is bent, is it functioning correctly? Is it actually functioning correctly? And the only issues that it's causing you to miss, or is it not functioning properly? Which I would imagine is probably not the case. It should still function, I would think. I would think. He said it functions, but it shoots 3 inches to the left. Interesting. That's a fair question, Clover. That's a fair question.
How do we know it's a bent frame and not a barrel issue?
That's a fair question. Has a gunsmith checked it out before, bearded guy? Take it to a moth and have them look at the sights. Take it to a moth.
A smith.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay, I see it. I'm watching it on StreamYard, so it's a little behind, I think. So yeah, he had it checked out. Interesting. At the gun shop that you bought it at, please tell me it was. Please tell me it was. Because at that point, if they have a no return policy, then I would never go back there again.
I would throw a fit. They would have to call and have me escorted off the premises. If I bought it there and their gunsmith told me it was jacked, I know
those RIAs have the frames are softer metal, and
of course they are. That's why they're cheaper.
They shoot. I mean, to bend the frame on those, you have to shoot a lot of rounds through them. I know I've heard people say 2,000-3,000 rounds of 45 through them they start to stretch a little. But being it's a 1911, you do have the option. I believe you can go on like CDNN and see if it all depends on California state law, but you do have the option to get a new frame. You just have to give it to a smith to put together.
He said, nope, they won't service me. So I asked this question again. Is it a smith that checked it out at the same gun shop that you bought it at? That's something that I really want to know.
I think that's what he means.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's saying.
If it's a smith at the shop that you bought it at and they won't service you, no, it's a different gun shop. Okay.
I would say how long ago? How long ago did you?
How old is the gun? Let's be honest. Yeah. Let's say how old, roughly, if you have an idea of how old the gun is. I'd be interested to know if it's a newer model, if it's a 20-year-old model. There's no telling what It's
hard to tell with those. Well, if it's just a GIM model.
What I'm talking about is an older, not necessarily like age. I'm talking about like, does it have thousands of rounds put through it or a couple hundred rounds through it, like a newer model?
He said he got it about 2 years.
You shouldn't have any fucking problems with a 2-year-old gun, because I can't imagine anyone putting enough rounds through it in 2 years. Let's be honest.
You could put an inquiry in with.
But man.
I mean, Rock Island. It can be hit or
model.
Miss. Yeah.
Rock Island is hit or miss. I will say that, but a bent frame is something different. I would call them.
Yeah, because there's going to be, if it was bent through carelessness, there's going to be signs on that. Like, you take it, you beat it with a hammer to bend the frame, you're going to be able to tell you beat it with a hammer, right?
That's right.
If it fell off the back of your truck at 80 mile an hour down the interstate, you're going to be able to tell it. So if then it's a factory issue, and it would not surprise me one bit.
No,
that Rock Island Armory let one out of the factory with a bent frame, and that's probably why it's used. Is whoever bought it new bought it, and it shot 3 inches to the left, and they traded it in on something else because they're like, screw Rock Island Armory, I don't want their crap anymore, and so they traded it in on something else.
Now that said, bearded guy, what I would do is I would either email or try to call. I would try to call them first, but email or try to call Rock Island and see what they say. If you can't get anywhere with them, call me or email me, right? Email me and I might be able to use a contact or a Ginger or Clover through our contacts that we have through Rock Island, at least to find someone specifically to talk to about this, right?
Yeah. And if you had a gunsmith already check it out too, that's a plus. Because it's not just you saying this, but you could actually bring in that gunsmith into the conversation.
It looks like he said it's just got the idiot mark on it.
Interesting. Good question. We didn't think about this question. We were talking about this, about a used gun, and you're talking about the 226 that the sights were adjusted. Midnight Range out there says has someone put sights on it, or the aftermarket sights that have more travel and adjust where you need to, or maybe you can't replace the sights without milling or something. Does it, for the question is, does it have aftermarket sights on it right now, or have the sights been adjusted? That, like, what if you're right-eye dominant, but the person that owned it before was left-eye dominant, and they needed to adjust sights a little bit for their weirdness? You know, I mean, what I'm saying is he might not have thought about that, but the Smith probably would have noticed that, right?
Yeah, the Smith wouldn't have said the frame was bent if the sights were just off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a horrible.
So he's just got the standard blades on. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I was just asking. It's a good question to ask.
Go aftermarket rear, man, and could be adjustable and be done.
You know what? Because Rock Island could charge you to send that into them. They probably won't charge you for fixing it, but they're going to have to pay for shipping and all of that. And it could take a couple weeks to get that fixed. Or if you've got $50 to go find some aftermarket rear sights.
With those,
it's a GI. Okay, so it's a GI, so it's non-adjustable. Interesting.
He'd have to
aftermarket.
He'd have to get a cut. He'd have to get a Novak cut put in.
Well, that's, and we've also said that the Smith said it was a bent frame. So,
well,
I would try to send it in.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, and I don't know. I know that California has weird laws, but if he sends it back to Rock Island, they're gonna replace the frame, so it'll be a new serial number. So he'll have to go back through that whole process again.
Well,
I you know what, I would contact them, and I think your first option is to try to ship it back to them and see what they'd be willing to do for you.
Second option is move out of California.
That's the biggest option. Go somewhere they have more than 2 gun shops.
Holy crap!
I've got more than 2 gun shops, and I live in a tiny town.
Research best gun shops in the United States, and that's the city you move to. Just saying, because mine, if that would have happened with any of the gun shops around here, like, they would have taken care of it. It would have been traded it back in, or at worst, they would have gotten in touch with Rock Island and made. They would at worst.
That's the very least. I can guarantee you that if I had that situation, and it's a company that I don't have a contact with, I don't work with them for some reason, I guarantee Chuck would take care of that for me as a shop owner. I got it for you, no problem.
Yep. We'll handle it.
100%. Interesting.
Okay, so I'm going to put this in the chat for him because I just looked it up to help him out. Hopefully it'll let me put it in. But I found their email you're supposed to email. It does say it has a lifetime warranty, and they do have.
Okay, what is it? I'll type it while you're telling me, and I'll put it out in the chat. I'll type in the chat.
Oh, I was going to type it in the chat myself.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, okay, yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Hey,
I don't know. Are you?
No, I'm not an admin. You're going to have to put it in. It's support at armscore.com.
Support
at
armscore.com.
I know the head gunsmith
that right there,
by the way, when we're talking about personal contacts. So if he doesn't, I can get him in touch with. Now, that's no guarantee they're going to do anything because, like you say, they're not a very streamlined company, unfortunately. But
they offer a limited lifetime warranty on their products for their intended purposes. As with any product, abuse, gunsmithing by an unqualified person, or normal wear and tear is excluded. So I don't know if they'll count that as normal wear and tear, but bending frame is not normal wear and tear.
That's from the factory, dude. I'm telling you, on Rock Island, that was bent from the factory. That's the reason it was a used gun.
Yeah.
Just follow the logic.
It doesn't say for the original owner. Midnight. As far as I read, it does not say anywhere for the original owner.
I can't. Lifetime typical. I mean, there are going to be some lifetime warranties that are for the original owner, but anyone that's worth their damn weight in salt is going to make it good, right?
Usually it'll say limited if it's not the original.
Travis says, "Oh, but he forgot to mention he was using it as a hammer." That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Well, don't tell him that, please.
No.
Yeah, I think if Rock Island doesn't make it right,
Well, so if Rock Island doesn't want to or won't make it right, here's the thing: I would
start saving money
and never buy another Rock Island product again. That's just unfortunate.
Also, word to the wise: do not say you bought it used. I know
just say
you got an issue,
and it's having issues.
Yes. Yep. So, I wouldn't. Yeah. I would not disclose anything. Anything.
Will they ask that? I don't even know if they would ask that.
They normally do, but it also depends on if that serial number has already been back to the factory. They'll know if somebody else already put in for a warranty claim. That's the only difference.
Yeah. Travis, if you ever have an issue with a Bursa and you're not the original owner,
I can guarantee you
we can take care of that. Not a problem.
Yeah. Who you know? I was texting back and forth with who we know today.
Yeah. Not a problem. That's the beautiful thing about this industry is if I don't know someone, I know someone that knows something pretty much at every company that can make shit happen. And between the three of us on this panel and our networks with our friends and our contacts, there ain't a whole lot of companies that we can't at least have someone contact on your behalf and say, help me out, do me a solid here.
One of the biggest issues with Bursa, and you know this, is the stuff that came from Argentina years and years ago.
Years ago, before it became.
They're having so much trouble with getting things into the country. I don't know if they could get the parts or get what they needed or whatever. That would be potentially problematic with Bursa, but that would be the only problem.
Yeah, I remember when I worked at Gander, we were an authorized Burris repair dealer because for the decockers kept breaking on the Thunders.
Yeah.
That was way back in the day.
Can't be way too back. You're not that old, so can't be too far back in the day. 2016,
almost 8 years ago now.
Way back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Thunder's been around since the late 90s or something.
Yeah. Well, okay. Sorry. My
back
bad.
in the day, 20 years, on the timeline of Ginger's work experience.
20 years after they come out, you get one and act like it's brand new. Okay. Yeah. Look at this new gun I got. It's awesome.
Oh, stop it.
Oh, shit. He said that it's his takedown lever.
So, yeah, it's
the. I don't understand this. So, where you've got bearded guy or especially Travis talking about the takedown lever, why do you not get the part and fix it?
It's the decocker lever.
Okay, and why do you not?
No, he said it's not his decocker lever; it's his takedown lever.
Well, regardless of what it is, I'm just saying why I'm one of these, like literally that 2311 that went back.
Yeah.
Paul had to he's like, no, you're going to send it back, and I get why, because they wanted to know what was going on. But I don't even want to send crap back when stuff happens. I want to figure it out and get the part and just fix it because it's quicker. I'm not without it. I don't have to try to box something up and send ship it. I don't have to mess with all that. I can spend I can order a part for $10 freaking or whatever from any number of parts houses. It comes in the mail to my mailbox. No paperwork, no weirdness with that. I take it, and an hour later, it's fixed and it's back up and running. Like, why? I don't get why people freak out over things like that. Sometimes I get bearded guy, and if it's a bent frame, like that needs to go back. There's really not. What are you going to do with that? But with Midnight out there, dude, order a decocker, fix it. You're killing.
Yeah, he said they wouldn't.
Or a takedown lever, whatever, and fix it.
Oh, they wouldn't send them the part.
Well, you're calling the factory. Go get a parts house and order the $10 part, please, dude.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
There you
Numrich might have it. That's a good.
Numrich is fine, but you've also got Gun Garage, you've got Jack First, you've got Lee's Gun Parts. I can't even remember all the other gun houses. Everybody goes to Numrich, which is Gun Parts Corp. But there is tons and tons and tons of gun parts places out there. Tons. So just do your Google food, do your homework.
Travis, I think you struck a nerve in Clover, man.
I mean, Clover's gotten kind of angry tonight.
He got
It's
fucking
nothing.
salty
It's
there.
nothing with him, but I hear this a lot. We've talked about the warrant. We talked back right. We were talking warranty issue today, weren't we? Yeah, we were. As a matter of fact, with people.
We were. Yeah.
And it aggravates me when it's some little part and it's like things break and things happen. If it's a $10 part, order it and fix your thing. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Not everybody has the cool tools like you.
Why they didn't send you one could be, again, the Argentina connection that I was talking about earlier midnight. Like they're having trouble getting Argentinian, not only just guns, but parts and other stuff into the country. So, like, you might have to go with some parts house. Like one of them I know gets a lot of like guns in need of repair. They buy a lot of disposed guns, like from police departments and things like that. And is that what you call them? You know what I'm talking about, like evidence stuff that's been around or confiscated. And rather than cutting them down, and sometimes they do have to cut the receivers, you know, they're court ordered to do that, but they strip all the internal parts first before they cut the receiver, and they sell said internal parts. So you should be able to find one.
He said he just paper clip it. Yeah. There you go.
That works too, man.
That's a free one for you.
Like whatever works, dude.
As long as you got a box of paper clips, you know, because
it
ain't gonna take just one of them. But yeah.
I remember the back plate, not the back plate. The I don't know what you call it on a high power that holds the firing pin in that plate. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Mine cracked in half, and I went into a forum. I'm like, hey, is this easy?
Really?
To change apart? Oh, it was the old one.
Okay.
Surplus high power. So.
I thought you meant it was one of the newer.
No, not one of the newer.
I was like, really?
So I put it into a forum. I'm like, hey, is this easy to fix? And the number of people who are like, take it to a gunsmith just blew my mind. I'm like, is it easy to fix or not?
Okay, so I know where you're going with this, right? Gotta get it. Yeah, I understand. So I just got a text from Trav. So you're speaking to someone that is in no way, shape, or form in any way in the world mechanically inclined at all. I can do the basic stuff on guns, but when it comes down to doing like repairs like that,
like swapping an alternator, maybe
swapping an alternator, you know, I can change a tire, I can change the oil, I can do this, I can change spark plugs and all of that. Changing out an alternator, not so much. That said, I'm not saying that I agree with everyone saying just take it to a gunsmith. I would say that if you don't have any experience and you're not good mechanically, that's a legitimate thing, because I understand why people make fun of that. I can tell you, for me, like, literally am terrible mechanically. That's just me. It is what it is. Change the tar and change the oil. Yes, that's exactly right. Now, that said, if I have time and I have other guns that I can shoot, I'm not relying on this gun or whatever, there is a part of me that said it would be fun to get that part, find a YouTube video or a friend of mine that has done that before and say, hey, can you come over and show me how to do this, to learn that skill? Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
But if I need it quickly, I'm probably taking it to a smith, because I don't want to screw it up just trying to get it done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was easy. It was just pushing the firing pin, pop the plate off, pop it on.
I understand in that situation. I'm just saying in general, though, like, there's a lot of things that I would sit there and say, man, I don't trust my skill level here.
Well, what you're saying is you're not doing your own trigger job at home with a Dremel.
No.
Heck yeah.
No.
I had to get out the chop saw earlier on that bushing.
What'd you say?
Never mind. That was a
Speaking,
conversation. So we talked. The 2311. It was the bushing. It was the comp. The bushing
Yeah,
on the comp.
yeah.
So I called and Paul texted me like shortly after we got off the phone.
Oh,
And
okay.
was talking to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you can just mill that down." And I didn't know that the bushing sizes were different on the different size 1911s. I had no clue. I thought a 1911 bushing was a 1911. But so I learned something.
Yeah.
I learned something new today. But I'm like, oh, so I could just trim this one down basically because it was too big, and not allowing the slide stop to work. And he's like, "Oh yeah."
Oh, the slide stop was working. it was working.
Oh yeah. But it wouldn't not. Well, I guess it would not work, right?
Exactly. It was working perfectly.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just took it to the chop saw and a little bit of chop saw and a little bit of Dremel, clean it up later, and it was fixed. I mean, but I get it. Like if some people are not mechanically inclined, or maybe they don't have the tools, or so I get it. I'm a hater sometimes like that.
I'm glad you clarified bushing, and because I heard bushel. I took my bushel to the chop saw, and I'm like,
I heard it say bushing, which I know is East Texan for bushing.
Bushing.
Bushing. I just got a text from my wife. God love her. She said tsunami is coming. She takes a picture of the TV screen over there at the house and her parents' house, and there's a big yellow sign. He says, tsunami is coming. Yellow sign says, please run. She's like, where the hell am I going to run? It's a fucking tsunami, Like, where am I going to run? Like, her parents' house is like literally like half a mile from the ocean. Like, where would you like for me to run? But it says run on the TV.
Oh, that's why. There was a 7.5 magnitude earthquake in Taiwan.
Yeah, no, the tsunami is a real thing. But it says run. She's like, where? Like, where the fuck am I supposed to run?
I would say higher ground, but it's Okinawa. So
it's Okinawa. There ain't a whole lot. I mean, there are some mountains there, but not anywhere near where she is.
Right. Get to the chopper.
To the chopper. Yeah, she's on a fucking island. Where do you want her to go?
How high is it supposed to be? Is it saying?
I don't know.
No, that's fine. You don't have to ask her.
Okinawa. I'm not asking her because I don't think she's actually on the phone. Okinawa tsunami.
Like 3 foot, 10 foot, 20 foot.
Well, I think tsunami's got to be like a 30-foot
wave.
No,
tsunamis. It's usually pretty big. Let's see here. Tsunami warning issued for Okinawa. A tsunami of at least 30 centimeters had already reached another island about 70 miles from Taiwan.
3 foot. 3 foot.
Yeah, that's funny. No, what they're saying is it was on its way, and it's already hit another one. I wonder if that meant 30 meters. They put centimeters. This is the Japan Times, so this is like my computer like automatically translating to English. So it might have been something else. Let me go back.
30 meters, dude. That's 100 foot. So there's no way that would wipe the island out. So there's no way that's it. It's probably 3 foot. Probably right. 3 foot's dangerous depending on where you're at. Like if you're close to the ocean, 3 foot can be bad, very bad.
Oh yeah, tsunami height.
Because water is pretty dense. Water rushing in a 3 foot wall of water ain't nothing to.
Oh no, not especially moving at a very fast speed.
Yep.
Tsunami.
They say waves up to 3 meters, 9.8 feet high.
Okay.
Right now.
3 meters. Okay.
Yeah. Up to 3 meters.
People watching this did not realize they were going to get a science lesson tonight.
What's going on in world events?
Japan, yeah. Georgia Representative Johnson says islands tip over. That sounds like a Biden thing to me.
Yeah, 10 foot. Yeah, 10 foot. Definitely need to get inland. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Other side of the island or something.
So she's at her brother's house, and he's got a multi-story house, and that's
That'll
where
help.
she's at. So
Yeah, good.
I'm gonna check. She has not read my last message, so I don't
is he on that side of the island or a different side, another side?
You know? where they are at, they would get hit.
Yeah. Well, at least they're up high, so
They don't.
Yeah.
Just don't hold
because
up
they're
signs.
they're on the northern part of Okinawa, which is closer to the mainland, and they would get hit.
How far in are they?
They're a half a mile from the beach.
Oh wow, that's not far.
That's what I'm saying. Like their house is literally less than a mile from the ocean.
Pretty dense with stuff in between them, or
yes. I mean, so there's
That's
roads and other houses and buildings and businesses and stuff.
Good things that'll get hit first.
That said, a 10-foot wave moving at possibly 80 miles an hour ain't gonna stop very easily.
Right. Well, it'll
That's
disperse.
but
Though, all I'm saying.
It will. So I mean,
they're used to it. That's what you said earlier.
They are, and they've also got seawalls.
Like people that live in Florida, or whatever.
Well, I mean, there is a huge seawall that's built right there.
That'll help.
That will help break it up a lot. I mean, this city's been there for hundreds, if not 1,000 years, and tsunamis and hurricanes, or whatever you want to call them, typhoons over there, are not uncommon. So. And the good thing is going to sound kind of dark, but and some of you know my wife's sense of humor. She would have said bye if she was worried. Let's just be honest. And she's joking about where the hell she's supposed to run to. So, that said, I'm going to send it in our family chat where her brother will get everyone okay. I need to type that in Japanese. Hold on, because he might not be able to read that. I'm sorry, folks, but this is kind of taken over.
No, you're good. Artek said that the Hank Johnson asked if the Navy Admiral if Wake Island would tip over.
Oh my God.
Okay. That's your elected officials.
Good job, Georgia, for electing that guy.
That only happens when there's too many people on one side. So as long as everybody doesn't try to get away from the tsunami at once.
I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking that as long as not everyone ran to the same side of the island, they should. I didn't want to say that out loud, but I'm glad you did, because I was thinking that. I'm not gonna lie.
He had to say that mid-sip too.
Yes, he did. Hey, baby, I got both my puppies here. Hey, right there, watching my daughter's black lab. Yeah. Hey, baby girl. So yeah. All right, John. Let's start sweeping the floor here. What's going on at Fully Loaded Reviews, and then give us an update if you on how anything that GOA needs to get out there as well.
Yeah, so Fully Loaded Reviews, we just launched our video on the Ross Martin RM1C. Go check out that video. It's a really good video. I'm going to say it's one of our best so far.
I mean, it's not saying much. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it really isn't saying much.
It's actually pretty good. Kurt's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, I think I should say.
Yeah, and we've edited it a little bit better, and we only cut it down to 16 minutes now. So
I know you're in Suits territory,
wow.
not nothing fancy anymore. So that's
for you guys, that's like a short or a reel.
Saying a guy like Clover put out a 40-minute video this weekend, so and then you put out a 16. Something odd's happening here,
Oh my goodness, you're not wrong. So we got that. We've got the after this, we're doing the Anderson Kiger 9C Pro. I've got a couple other videos in the works with the Arex Delta, the Taurus G4, the Sky CPX2, the Anderson Dissipator. We've got plenty of content for a while. So we're getting those wrapped up. On the GOA side, keep an eye out for the sign up for attendees for goals. So go to goals.gunowners.org. Keep an eye on that website. Oh, thanks, Scott. Appreciate it. Keep an eye on that. Make sure that you attend goals August 17th and 18th.
It's going to be goals.gunowners.org. Is that what it's going to be when it's up and live?
Yeah, okay. That'll be what it's up and live too. Okay. So it'll be, the website should be updated here shortly. Like I said, I've got the list in front of me now. So we've got so far, running from the bottom down: Radical Defense and Firearms, Reaper Systems, Cirrus Gear, Cox Arms, Ballistic Dummy Lab, Mission First Tactical, Sticky Holsters, Watchtower Defense, Car Arms, HD Targets, Sentry Arms, Adams Arms, Matador, MagTech, or not MagTech, Metgar Mags, Lyman, EAA, Stern Defense, Palmetto State Armory, Manus X, IWI, Vertex, Dead Air, KCI, Gideon Optics, Smith & Wesson, Tippmann, Stroop Knives, Night Vision, Global Ordnance, SDS Imports, and many more. Those are just some of the, and Lead and Steel's on there too. And My Medic's going to be doing some classes. We're working with them to do some Stop to Bleed stuff. So it's going to be a whole bunch of, not only are you going to be able to take free classes, learn stuff, get to sit in on a lot of cool talks with a lot of cool people, but we're also going to have free concerts, free comedy, and a bunch of other stuff.
My wife's calling. Hold on. Yeah. Please talk amongst yourself. Hold on, okay? Yeah. I'm going to mute myself.
Clover Tech, what do you got going on?
Pretty salty. That's a pretty salty list.
Yeah. You like that list? It's a good list.
It's decent. It needs to be twice that size. And it also needs to be in alphabetical order, just saying.
Listen, that's the order they signed up, so I'm sorry.
I was cussing Metgar earlier.
Why?
I had these Ruger Mark II mags from Metgar, and like I could not like get them to work. I was like, "What's going on?" I was having all kinds of problems, and then I figured out it was a grip issue, the aftermarket grip. It was not the mags, and so I was able to get that fixed. But and they run fine once I picked that. I gotta say, they run absolutely fine. So shout out to Metgar. They make good stuff. They're not Pro Mag. I've never seen a good Pro Mag. So
no. Well, you know what you need to do, Clover, is you need to reach out to your guy at Bursa for me. I totally forgot to ask you for the Bursa contact.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that. I'll let you know.
Yeah. I've reached out a bunch of people. But Bursa, you should put a bug in their ear if you could, please, and thank you, both of you.
Well, I'll just put it in the side chat here in a minute for you, and you'll be good to go. So
yeah,
how about that?
Good.
Yeah. All right. So everyone's safe. The warning has gone down to a precaution, which means about a 1 meter instead of 3 meters. And so they're actually getting ready to leave and go check on some of the great ants that are older.
I thought you said. I thought you was going to say they're fixing to go out and get the surfboards.
Her cousin probably is. He was a professional surfer, and now he actually teaches.
1 meter tsunami could be fun.
Oh hell yeah! You know the what do you call them? The jet ski racing.
Yeah.
Like her cousin's like professional, but now like does training, like trains other professionals, like their coach or whatever. Can you imagine doing the jet ski racing on 1 to 3 meter waves? That would be kind of fun.
Yeah. That reminds me of that old video game we used to play. What was it on N64? They had jet ski racing game that came with it.
I don't remember that.
Hydro something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting. Yeah. Clover, did you get a chance to speak, or was Ginger talking the whole time?
I didn't yet. So dropped a podcast episode with Mike from Tactical Considerations yesterday. We had Ghost and Clover, which was pretty salty, on Sunday. So all of those are not only in replay on the YouTube world, but also the audio podcast world as well at this point. Hopefully going to film a normal content video tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to get that one out tomorrow afternoon or or Thursday, but that's sort of the plan. And what else? Yeah, I guess that's I can't think of anything. Going to watch the new Ghostbusters movie tomorrow. I forgot it came out a couple weeks ago, so looking forward to that.
I don't suspect I want to go see it.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, I ain't afraid of no ghost.
I ain't afraid of no ghost. Gee webs. I used to be a jet ski racer, but I was asked to leave the sport because I was too damn good and dominated all the. I would pay so much money. I would pay all the money that I have to see G Webs racing jet skis.
Jet ski racer from the desert.
From the desert.
I bet he would enjoy doing donuts in a jet ski. Just saying.
I think you're right. and let's be honest, isn't that what a race is you're just turning left the whole time? Isn't it just basically an oval-sized donut? He could be a damn good NASCAR driver, I bet.
I will pay money to see G-Webs on a jet ski.
I would pay all the money that I have
at SHOT Show, because I guess they just announced that across from the Flamingo they're putting like a beach front and water. I don't know.
So did you know that the Flamingo might be going away?
Yeah, I heard that.
And they're getting the Oakland A's are probably moving to Vegas, and they're going to tear down the Flamingo to build the baseball stadium.
They're also
I'm surprised the city allowed the Flamingo to be torn down. I'm just saying.
They're also getting rid of the Bellagio fountain.
Really? What are they going to do there?
Put in shopping.
Of course they are. So they're going to be like another Caesars, basically.
Yeah.
Having the Caesars Mall. Yeah, I heard that about a month or two ago, the talks are getting real serious about the A's moving to Vegas. And I was like, I started reading into it a little bit. Not that I really give a shit, but like, I'm a baseball guy, so I was trying to figure it out. And they said that the planned stadium is on the site of the freaking Flamingo. And I was like, man, there's some people out in the desert turning over in their sand graves if they heard that the Flamingo is going to be torn down for a baseball stadium.
So if they're getting rid of the Flamingo, are they keeping the link in the promenade?
Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Was it the Flamingo or the Tropicana they were tearing down? Sure wasn't Tropicana?
Could have been it was one of the original ones. It might have been the Trop. Hold on here. Is it Tropicana? Oh, the Tropicana is down there by MGM, right? On Tropicana.
Yeah.
So it might be the Tropicana. Hold on here. Vegas Stadium plans. It might be the Trop. Hold on here. Where is he going to be? Yep, it's at Tropicana, and you're right. It's not at Flamingo. It's at Tropicana and the Strip. So they're going to tear down.
Yeah. Wow.
Man, isn't that sad? The Tropicana, which is even almost worse than the Flamingo, because that was one of like the OGs,
Yeah.
Man, but I heard that, I was like, man, I'm surprised that someone, I guess they really can't do anything about it. Bally's owns that property. They can do whatever the hell they want to with it. But man, that hurt when I heard that. It is a Tropicana. You're right. My bad. I misspoke. But yeah, when I heard that, I was like, that's not good.
Aren't they also tearing down the hotel in between the Link and the Venetian? That Hilton or whatever the heck that thing is? I heard that too.
Probably parking or something?
I don't know. I heard they were tearing that down too. Where White Castle and all those shops are.
Really?
Yeah, I heard something about that.
I don't know. The only reason why I heard about this was because it was the Oakland A's moving to Vegas. So now the Oakland Raiders have moved to Vegas and the Oakland A's are moving to Vegas. I wonder how soon that freaking the Golden State Warriors will be in Vegas. Just saying. But actually, the Golden State, their new stadium's over in San Francisco side, I believe.
Yeah, I think they'll put a new NBA franchise there before they move.
They're already talking about it. I think that they were already talking. They're going to add. They're talking about adding 2 more teams. One of them was going to. They promised, I guess, a long time ago when Seattle moved to Oklahoma City, the Supersonics. I think there was a deal that gave Seattle an open option. If they ever wanted one back, they could have one. So I'm assuming they're talking about 2 new teams. I would have to assume that Seattle would probably be one of them. And they've been talking about Vegas because of Thomas and Max. I guess it's called the Verizon Center now, or whatever, T-Mobile, or whatever it is. It's actually a pretty nice stadium, and it definitely could hold NBA franchise there. I'm okay with that. I know there's a lot of people that are nervous about, sports being in Vegas. I think it's great. Vegas is a great town. I mean, it really is. So screw it. Now that gambling's basically legal everywhere, I mean, because you can go on apps and do it wherever. I mean, it doesn't matter now, That's what it is. Anyways, 2.5 hours. And
make sure you have an interpreter, right?
God bless them. And have you all seen the Pete Rose video? Pete Rose goes there. He goes, man, if I only had it back in the 70s and 80s, if I just had an interpreter, I'd be scot-free right now. And it is so true. Shohei, I hope to God you're telling the truth, man. Hope to God you're telling the truth, because if you're not, well, we're never going to see you again, or Pete Rose is going to be reinstated into baseball. One of the two is going to happen, so I'm okay with either one. I'd rather him not be banned, because I think Shohei is an incredible talent. I enjoy watching him play baseball. But anyways, all right, boys and girls, we're going to get out of here. Thanks a lot for watching. We've got, I can't remember, I think it's maybe a Streamlight video coming out this week, or I think it's a Streamlight video that I've got scheduled to come out this Saturday. Check it out. All sorts of good stuff coming down the road. It's going to be busy up until May when we head to Dallas. It's going to be a steady flow of stuff, because we got a whoa, hello. You trying to flex your patch wall there?
Maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. I'll give you that. It's pretty solid. Go check out John's channel, Fully Loaded Reviews. Go check out gunowners.org. I suggest you not go check out Clover Tech, but if you're a glutton for punishment,
I do too, man.
Clover Tech. And I would say go ahead and just unsubscribe from my channel, because it's only going to get worse, folks. It's only going to get worse. But no, thanks for the great conversation and all that out there in the chat. If you're watching this and replay or listen to podcasts, like I said, leave a question for us, a comment. Let us know what you're thinking out there. And we will see you next week. Make sure that you are getting to the range, being more proficient with your firearms. More importantly, enjoy your freedoms of being an American, one of which to keep and bear arms. We'll see you next week. Semper Fi. Oh, happy every second matter. I just realized it's April 2nd. Happy every second matter. How did I not? How did that slip through? I literally just noticed that. I don't know how that slipped through, but happy every second matters.
There you go.
We'll see you next week. Bye.